Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today from McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately, then having it go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true. To stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio. From NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 23rd edition of Finish Line on iHeartRadio, Community Radio Network. We're also on the Fox Sports Radio affiliates throughout the Carolinas. You're in the hot seat as always. I'm your host, Wesley Outland. We are going into the next 2 hours of the best motorsports talk from everything to NASCAR to grassroots. Could not do it without the help of always the man behind the board. He chimes in a time or two. Charles Wooten, I'm so glad you're okay, man. You had some pretty bad weather in Texas the other day at the studios.
Yeah, tornadoes everywhere, pretty much all around me. Things were getting destroyed, so we're good. We're safe here, and we get to go back to doing podcasts again.
We are. We certainly are. We've got a great show for you here for, of course, the March the 23rd edition of Finish Line. I always want to thank all of our sponsors, including Tanya McAllister, Lonnie LaPlante, and MPM Marketing, marketwithmpm.com. Thanks again also to Katie Dillon and CrateInsider.com. And for the final couple of weeks, this week and next, a longtime sponsor, they've decided to go in another direction, which is all good. Obviously, things are difficult in our country and with the industry and with the high rises of costs and life and everything else. Dean Delmar and the powers that be at Trico Tools Incorporated in McDonough, Georgia, dirtcarlift.com. A couple more weeks with them today and next Wednesday. But other than that, the show rolls on. I am, again, Wesley Outland, your host. Charles Wooten on the backside. Thanks again to all of our affiliates. And, of course, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, or LSR Productions in Texas. And Jeff Stabnow for helping us out. Charles, man, I want to say something here before I go any further with our guest lineup in today's show. I was first off, I want to say to some people out there, and this has been weighing on my mind since Sunday night, as a matter of fact, Charles, and I've just kind of waited until today to say something on the subject of this forum, on our forum. I had somebody contact me, and they basically said, Charles, that, Wesley, you're really looked up to for what you say in this industry. And if you remember back during the Snowball Derby week in December on the air live, I made a comment about, well, if all this money's on the line and, I'd wreck my mother to win. Somebody took offense to that. And after actually having a civil conversation with the person and actually talking with someone else in the subject as well, Charles, I kind of understand where they're coming from. When you're on the air and you're filling in time, you kind of say whatever it is, I guess it's on your mind, or ad-libbing to just put out an expletive of what's going on the subject. I would like to first say that I know the difference between racing somebody hard, racing, and then intentionally wrecking somebody. I do feel that is not what happened at the Snowball Derby between, of course, Derek Thorne and Chandler Smith, who are guests, Charles, that we've had on many times in the past on Finish Line. But I had somebody have something similar to that happen to them this past weekend, and then they made it a point to reach out to me, and they were like, Wesley, you're really well known in what you do in this industry. You're very respected. You kind of should watch what you say, because some people might take that the wrong way or say, well, why the hell did that guy say things that way? Because, was he thinking that wrecking somebody, crashing somebody is racing? Charles, I think he would probably suffice to say agree with me on that. We know the fine line between rough driving, moving somebody out of the way, and then racing hard for trying to get the checkered flag. Everybody wants to win. There's only going to be one winner that gets to the finish line first. But there is also a fine line, though, Charles, between rough driving, intentionally moving somebody, wrecking somebody, and racing to the finish line to try to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I don't know. There's a driver out there, unless they really, really don't like each other, that's going to intentionally wreck somebody for a win. I mean, most drivers are not that way. I look back to the whole incident with Matt Kenseth when he shoved Kyle Busch into the wall. That was intentional wrecking. I don't think anybody's ever really going to do that. Well, obviously somebody did.
Actually, Charles, you're talking about when Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano wrecked each
Joey
other
Logano, that's
at
what it was.
Martinsville.
Number 2,
Yes,
not number
yeah.
18, yeah. I don't think anybody, normally is really going to do that. I think that's more dramatized for NASCAR. Grassroots
Sure.
racing drivers are not like that. They're not going to go out there and intentionally wreck somebody for a win. Again, unless there's really, really bad blood in between drivers, and even if they do it then, it ain't going to be for the win. It's going to be anytime they feel like it, probably. So, I don't think anybody does that intentionally out there.
You know, though, Charles, the situation is this, and I've said this on so many other occasions as well. When you've got promoters that are dangling big carrots of money at all these guys, and they're, for instance, and I'm not down any promoters out there. I know you got to put on big money races. That's the idea of attracting drivers, attracting entries, more cars, and most of all, more asses in the seats. And I get that. You want to put on a caliber show, but when is enough enough? When is too much crossing the line? Is it 50,000 to win? Is it 100,000 to win? Eldora this year is doing $1 million to win. That they've not done since 2001 when Donnie Moran won the $1 million dream. You look at all of these opportunities for dirt, pavement. Obviously, you see what the racing world pays. We had the Quapples on last week. Carson and Caden Quapple pocketed close to $35,000 each, and their brothers in racing. When is the price tag for what it pays to win subseding what the racing's supposed to be about? And does that high dollar amount, my question, Charles, make the aggressive driving, wrecking people, putting people in the fence? Yeah, I know I'd use the analogy I'd wreck my mother to win if I had a chance to. Come on, that's just me talking. I would obviously never ever do anything like that of that caliber. But I had somebody approach me about it the other night, Charles, and honestly, it's been weighing on my mind the last couple of days. I mean, I focus on my day-to-day life and go to meetings and do baseball games and softball games, soccer games, and all the other things that I do in racing as well. But on the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, man, is people listening to what I say and they're taking it the wrong way, or is it becoming it's out of context? We live in a society now, honestly, Charles, and you know this, where you got to watch what you say. I agree with that. I'll humbly say I agree with that as well. But the fact of the matter is like, it's like the old thing: don't do as I do, don't do as I say, do what you need to do. When we're in the broadcast booth, whether it's radio or television or public address, we're telling a story. I've always said that. But secondly, we are trying to entertain the people that are on the audience. If I said something that offended anybody in that way of making you think that I don't respect racing, or I don't respect the drivers or their crews or their teams or their hard-earned money that goes into building these cars, especially on a grassroots level, Charles, that I humbly say here on Finish Line, on my official radio form, I sincerely apologize, and that is a comment that I will never, ever make again, even in a jokingly manner. Because I don't want anybody to think, Charles, that I am a fan of somebody tearing another person's shit up on the racetrack or anywhere, whether it's NASCAR or grassroots, because of somebody having the idea that they can run somebody up the wall and wreck them and try to win $50,000.
Yeah, and it's one of those. I think personally, you're going to make some people happy, some people mad. That's life. As far as the what is too much when it comes to a purse, people out there, they're like, oh, it was a caution fest, blah blah blah. Well, the more money you put on the line, the more people are going to show up. The more cars, the more chance of somebody wrecking someone intentionally or not intentionally. Just having cautions, and honestly, I don't think we're going to see a cap on how much money people are putting on races until the sponsors get to the point where they're not seeing a return on their investment. If these guys are putting up 50 to win, but they're making, $200,000 on parts, and stuff because stuff's breaking or whatever,
Sure.
then they're making a good return on their investment sponsoring that race. So eventually, they are going to get to a point where, look, we're spending $100,000 on a race, and we're not selling that many parts. If it's whatever, K&N air filters or whatever, especially with the way the economy is, I think maybe it'll stay stagnant here for a while. I don't know. It just depends on what their return of investment is on their sponsorship money.
My next soapbox I want to get on here before we get our guests lined up. By the way, we are filling in the time slot, Charles and I, with KBM winner at Atlanta of Corey Heim from Marietta, Georgia. Big win for him in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. I had him scheduled to be on. He reached out to me and said, hey, man, I've got other things going on. I've got a meeting that's just been popped up with KBM Motorsports. I'm not able to make the show. So I went from one Corey to another Corey, Charles, and I tried to reach out to my buddy from of Corey LaJoy. From the NASCAR Cup Series. And Corey also has something else going on today as well, which I totally get. I listen, I get these guys. You think that the broadcast life is a crazy schedule of itinerary. Be one of these drivers on the NASCAR level, whether it's Cup, Xfinity, or the trucks. And you've got itineraries that are evolving with meet and greets, schedulings, meetings, sponsor opportunities, promo things that you're doing, not just driver, crew, team meetings, not just to mention also the media obligations that they've got to fulfill, and then try to be race car drivers and try to acknowledge your fans as well. So I totally get that. So for that reason, Corey Heim not able to be with us, and neither was Corey LaJoy. We'll get – and Charles, you said this to me. Man, we might need to try to stop trying to get these big wheel guys on here because they're so hard to get. But I'm not going to give up. I would like to try to cover everybody from NASCAR to grassroots. With that said, Charles, what did you think of the new Atlanta Motor Speedway and the racing that it offered on Sunday?
Man, you read me on the hot seat today, are you? Well, let's be honest. I didn't watch the race, so
okay.
I've heard good and bad. I've heard good and bad things about it. I've heard fans say they liked it. I've heard fans say they didn't like it. Then I watched Kyle Busch's interview, and it was like 3 words. So obviously he didn't like it either.
But that's Kyle Busch, though. But Charles, that's Kyle Busch. I mean, that's really how Kyle Busch is. If he's in a good mood, he is happy, jubilant, exciting, talking, great. When something doesn't go right for him, it's like, and I don't want to use the word crybaby status, but honestly, it's kind of hard to do that. But the thing is, and that's what a lot of people say, but again, I'm not calling him a crybaby. What I am saying is that he is a passionate, dedicated race car driver, Charles. And when things don't go right in his universe, it makes him frustrated. It'll make anybody frustrated. That's life.
Yeah, I mean, he's the type of driver, in my opinion. Again, this is only my opinion. He races with his feelings and his stuff on his shoulders.
We got him behind him right here. Look,
yeah. When it's a good day, he's happy. When it's a bad day, he's mad. I mean, I guess that's typically any person, but yeah, it didn't go his way, and maybe next year he'll win the race and he'll be happy about the track. But my big take from what I just heard from people talking about, they didn't like that it was a super speedway package on a non-super speedway track. Again, I haven't actually gone back and watched it, so I can't say what my opinion is. That's just what I hear.
47 lead changes amongst 20-plus drivers. You hear something of that caliber at Daytona or Talladega. But you know what? I got to say that I give props, though, to all the powers that be, the president, Brandon, and everybody, Ted Alstead, everyone that is involved in Atlanta Motor Speedway. They took a gamble. They took a shot, and they pulled it off. And I'll be honest with you, Charles, besides – I've not seen anybody else do this in the realm of NASCAR except for what they did at the Daytona road course. And they basically just took the Rolex 24 sports course that's ran in January and have NASCAR race on it now once a year. But as far as the SMI, Speedway Motorsports Incorporated, Charles, they have literally like set the bar with doing crazy shenanigans, whether it has been moving the All-Star race from Bristol to Texas from Charlotte, where it used to be, from doing the dirt on Bristol, from doing the dirt race there, to doing the Roval at Charlotte, which was the mixture of the oval and the road course at the same time, which made the brains get thinking and, light bulb, let's do Daytona road course, to doing the Indianapolis road course. I look at what they did at Atlanta. I'll be honest. My first announcing gig with NASCAR many years ago was at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Charles. The race was, it was okay. Okay, I'm not going to say anything bad here, but it was nothing like what we saw on Sunday. And I think that's what they were trying to do, was try to get that excitement level back of what was Atlanta Motor Speedway on Sunday. You had the new pavement of the track. You went from 24 degrees to 28 degrees of banking. You shortened the lengthening of the front straightaways. You extended the lengthening of the back straightaways. And I thought it was a great show. I really did. Obviously, there was some calamity. I think somebody said 18 cars out of 37 crashed out. They weren't even able to finish the race. Obviously, there was the big wrecks. You had that big one type style mentality at Atlanta, which was very abnormal. And one of the things I saw, Charles, is in years past at Atlanta, you jump out, you drop the green, and they stay single file. They ride. It becomes a strategy of fuel. It becomes a strategy of who can save their tires. Not the case. And I know that Goodyear is still having some type of a tire issue that they're trying to address and fix on these new next-gen cars. But with that being said, I thought it as a fan perspective, not as somebody that's in the industry, if you did not like that show, you need to go get your pulse checked, because that was some intense racing that we saw on all the levels, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And of course, now it's on to the to COTA. They're around your neck of the woods this weekend, Charles.
Yes, that COTA's a really fun track. I know some people that don't like it on iRacing, but two tracks really that I'm looking forward to. And I'm obviously not on this schedule, and that is one, if they make a return to Hickory after some major improvements, and two, yeah, I think it's Phoenix, if I recall right, that's getting a whole new facelift, going to be a totally different layout than it is. I believe it's more of like a paperclip style that they're going to or something. If it is Phoenix, I don't remember, but either way, if it is, I'm looking forward to that new configuration whenever they finally get around to doing it. So those are what I'm looking forward
to. To correct you, my friend, Phoenix has already been redone. They made the dog leg where the front straightaway is. Let's be honest here about Phoenix. Phoenix is the same contemporary size. It's the same configuration of the racetrack as far as the track's dimensions. What they changed is they changed the back straightaway to the front straightaway, the dog leg in the flag stand at start-finish line, and then the back straightaway, which used to be the front straightaway at Phoenix, is now you've been changed as well. You are referring to Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. They are taking the 2-mile track that is an intermediate track, and there is conversations of making it a half-mile. However, California had a spectacular race when Kyle Larson won, of course, on a couple of weeks ago, round 2 of the season. So now the question mark is, do we change this now with the new car? Or are we, because they had a lot of fans there. They had a lot of great show. They had a big turnout. Do you take this package and do you now move the track and change the size of it from from 2 miles to a half-mile, short track, paperclip, as you said? Or do you leave well enough alone, maybe wait out a couple of more years? With that being said, we got a great show here. I hope you enjoyed us bantering back and forth. I just want to say in closing, before we give you guys the guest lineup today, that I would never, ever, and I will make sure I watch my P's and Q's on this from now on, make any type of a comment of, again, I support somebody running somebody up the hill, bumping, banging, crashing them, putting them in the wall, because to me, that is just not racing. Go out there, race hard, short track, grassroots to NASCAR, dirt, pavement, sprint cars to a late model to NASCAR. It doesn't matter. I think everybody needs to see a good show. but I think there's also a fine line point between obviously speed and chaos, and then, of course, intentionally wrecking somebody and racing somebody hard. There's my soapbox. Cue up our music today on the March 23rd edition of Finish Line. Obviously, we had Corey Heim. Corey Heim not available. That filled in our segment here. We're going to go to Georgia in just a few moments. We're going to talk to promoter Ben Sumner, Crisp Motorsports Park, the Georgia Spring Nationals second annual event with the Southern Super Series. We're going to have Ben Sumner on here in just a few. Coming up, as a matter of fact, right now, he should be getting ready to connect. Lane Riggs is joining us at 1:40. He'll be our next guest. Of course, the sweep of the weekend in the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Late Model Stocks at South Boston Speedway. Lane Riggs from Bahama, North Carolina, the son of one of the drivers of NASCAR in the past, Scott Riggs. Then we move into hour number 2, including Trevor Ward. Trevor Ward of the number 41 Hedgecock Racing Chassis picked up the win, of course, on Sunday at Caraway. Made the decision at the last minute to come and race. He wasn't even going to come. Made the decision to come and race, and he won. Landon River Lewis went on to win 3 legend car races for Hornaday Race Cars and his racing team, also with Ryan Racing, Joe Ryan Racing Cars. In the Legends, 2 at Hickory, 1 at Caraway. We'll talk to Landon River Lewis. Also, his plans on ARC are coming up in the upcoming 2022 racing season. Then we'll continue on, and we go into the driver of Mason Maggio. Mason Maggio of the Carolina Pro Late Model Series. He picked up the win, his first career win in the series on Saturday at Franklin County Speedway. Of course, you can see highlights, recaps of that as a subscriber yearly or monthly on Racing America. I was on the call of that event along with Tim Packman. Mason Maggio from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, is the winner. We'll have him on part of Rick Ware Racing and E33 Motorsports. The guy, Derek Hagar, picked up a big win. The man out of Arkansas, DHR suspension, by the way. I don't know if anybody knew that. DHR suspension's Derek Hagar. He's joining us on the program tentatively to recap his USCS Outlaw Thunder Tour win in their 25th anniversary season in Tuscumbia, Alabama on Sunday at South Alabama Speedway, or North Alabama Speedway. Correction, the Rattler was 2 weeks ago. And finally, our final guest is going to be a father-son, Paulie Hartwig III, Parley Hartwig Sr., joining us here. That's the guest lineup, along with Charles and his annex and mine and much more on the March 23rd edition of Finish Line. By the way, you can interact with us in the chat box. It's always welcome. As, of course, you can go to our live video feed, which is up right now, and you can be able to click on that link. And if you have questions, chat box, they're there. Hey, do we have Ben Sumner yet, Charles? That's the question. Okay, we're waiting Ben Sumner. So, well, I'll tell you what. Do what? No, Lane wanted to be at 1:40, I think. Is Lane already here? Okay. Yeah, I texted Ben Sumner. He even asked me. He said 1:30. Okay. Okay, I see where the confusion is. I'm telling Ben Sumner we need you now. So yeah. Yeah, I just said, hey, Ben Sumner, we're waiting, buddy. Maybe there was a time change on the mix-up. I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, we lost track there with obviously a segment because Corey Heim wasn't available, and I couldn't find anybody to fill in that piece. And, Charles, you love to talk, and you like to talk racing. And I'd love to get you in the hot box to talk about NASCAR.
Yes, you do. The one sport I don't watch that much, but or one type of racing, I guess you could say, because I watch plenty of dirt racing. For that matter. But yeah, I like racing. I just I never have time to watch a NASCAR race. I typically, if I sit down on the couch to watch one, within about 15 minutes, the dog's jumping up in my lap and we're taking a nap. So we don't get to watch that much of NASCAR anymore around here. But hey, it's a good sport.
I will say this, though, Charles, with everything you've seen from the iRacing esports side of things with the next gen car and what you've been able to see when you do, when you do, that's a nice trended lightly word term. When you do watch on television or before you fall asleep with the dog, you know, what do you think of what the package has been so far, even on the iRacing side of things?
Yeah, I think on the real side, again, from what I hear, it's produced great racing. On the iRacing side, um, it's produced some really, really good racing that we haven't seen in a long time. It's also produced some, 90 lap caution fest too. So, it's
Yes.
been both. It's one of those deals. I think it's like, riding a bike. Right now we got the training wheels on, and maybe some of these guys have taken the training wheels off a little too soon, and we're
Certainly.
seeing the wrecks. But
Yeah.
it's a learning curve. That's really what it comes down to.
It certainly is. We are waiting to connect with Ben Sumner, of course, from Crisp Motorsports Park, the promoter at Cordell, Georgia, the home of Speed Fest and all the other great things going on. He's got a big race coming up this weekend. That is, again, the second annual Georgia Spring Nationals. And while we're waiting to get him hooked up here, I've sent him a text. Maybe he
looks
lost
like we
track
do
of
have
time.
him.
He's a track promoter, okay? He's a track promoter. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. You're a track promoter. You're literally mind warped, going here, going there. And there's so much logistics in promoting a racetrack or doing a series. Ben Sumner is here. Let's connect now to Ben Sumner. Of course, he is the promoter of the Crisp Motorsports Park in Cordell, Georgia. Second annual Georgia Spring Nationals coming up this weekend. All right, I see Ben. There you go. Now, Ben, flip your camera around, brother. There you go.
Hey.
Somehow, some way, you got it done, man. Welcome to Finish Line. Good to have you, sir.
Hey, man, I'm sorry I'm late. Was out putting out flyers and talking to some people and just now getting to you.
You see? Do you see what I said? Do you see what I said, Charles? I said this is the life of a promoter. They literally get caught up on other things, and they're promoting. And that's the word. You got to promote. If you put me back on the screen real quick, Charles. Listen, it's very simple. If you want to be a damn good race promoter, you got to go out and you got to promote. It ain't just about cutting radio ads and TV ads and having other people do it for you. You got to do like that man's doing right there, Mr. Ben Sumner. All right, full screen on Ben. Ben Sumner, welcome to Finish Line, man. It's good to have you. Now, this is the second time we've helped promote some of your races. What a phenomenal show you had at Speed Fest, fighting the cold and the wind in January. My goodness. But you had a great show.
It was great. And I tell you what, Track Enterprises, Adam Mackey, Bob Sargent, their whole crew came in, and it was a pleasure to work with them and have the opportunity to build on some things, that I think are going to be really good in the future with their organization.
Yeah, it was announced also right before the Speed Fest that they have also acquired the Champion Racing Association from Glenn Luckett and R.J. Scott. Now, Glenn Luckett will still be in the officiating side of things, running the show as series director. But that just shows you where again, I've known Adam Mackey for a decade or more, Bob Sargent, all the great people there from Nashville to what they've done at Southern National to what they do at your event as well. Let's talk about this upcoming weekend, the Georgia Spring Nationals. This is your second year doing this event. And, man, it seems like the Southern Super Series is on a steam rail of momentum for this 2022 season.
They are, and we're excited about this. We've been working really hard with Tim Bryant, Nicholas, just everybody with the Southern Super Series. Really excited about this event. I mean, we've had 9 Summer Nationals with them, but this will be our second Spring Nationals. And every time we do something with them, we have a lot of support from the teams and the series, and it just works. It seems to work really good for us there in Cordell.
Stand by. My producer, Charles, has a question for you, Ben. Go ahead,
Okay.
Charles.
So I typically ask the funny questions. He's the serious guy here, but Texas is a long way. Yeah. Okay. He's not serious. Texas is a long way to drive since it is Georgia. I got to ask, at the track, being the home of the peaches, are we going to have some peach cobbler maybe there? Because I might be tempted to drive out there if we're going to have some peach cobbler at the concession stand.
Well, actually, let me step in here before Ben does. This is the watermelon capital of the world,
Oh, well,
fella.
watermelon.
Okay.
I'll take some watermelon, too.
Yeah, Ben, explain that it's the peach state of Georgia, yes, but your home, your successful vegetable fruit is watermelons.
It is watermelon. Actually, Cordell is the watermelon capital of the world, and so that's how that got involved in the name of the speedway years ago. And but if you're going to drive from Texas, I can guarantee you, I will have you some peach cobbler or some watermelon or whatever you want.
There you go. So there you have it. So get your butt from Texas to Georgia. You'll be definitely glad you did. We're talking with the promoter, Ben Sumner. Ben, I tell you what, man, I look at what you and your wife and everybody have done at that facility. It's just amazing because I remember going to my first time ever to what it was known as Watermelon Capital Speedway at the time. I was announcing with ASA, and they did a race, and I think we had 9-10 late models show up. And let's be honest, that track is kind of out in the middle of nowhere on I-75 going down into southern Georgia. Talk about the dedication and the work that goes behind promoting, putting out flyers, doing what you just did, like you said you're on before being on the guest on the show.
Well, it's never stopping. I mean, we constantly we try to do everything we can to make things accommodating for the fans and the racers because we really appreciate their support. And talking about the facility itself, Mr. Wayne Lyles, of course, is the owner of the facility, and he is constantly making upgrades. Every year is something new. Last year, new scoreboard, some building improvements, things like that. This year we went to LED lighting, and I mean, we just really want to, make the place as fan friendly and racer friendly as we can, and he's dedicated, and it just makes things, it just helps. I mean, it makes things good, but you always got to be hustling. I mean, a lot of the drivers, we just try to contact constantly and ask for their support and appreciate their support. And, because it takes everybody. I mean, it takes, everybody to be successful and stay in business. And we're very passionate about what we do. And we just, we love racing. So.
Ben, where do you see the state of short track racing, not just on a whole, but obviously in the state of Georgia?
I mean, I think it's pretty good. I mean, we're all in the entertainment business, and people, looking for entertainment, looking for things to do, and I think there's a lot of support, for the tracks in our state, and we just got to keep working and just do the things that we need to do and try to do as much as we can when we can and just keep digging, but I feel like, for the state of Georgia, I feel like there's a lot of support and a lot of people, looking, for entertainment and, not in too bad a shape.
It also seems like that, in addition to the big race for the pro late models and the super late models with big money on the line, 10,000 to win for the Southern Super Series. Obviously I think they've made the announcement they're paying 10,000 to win for the championship in the Southern Super Series. A minimum of each race this year is going to pay 10,000 to win. Some pay more than that. The big number, and I use this analogy early, the dangling of carrots, good thing, bad thing, because you're bringing in the cars. I'm looking at the car count. It looks like it's going to be pretty stout, but there's more pro late models than supers on the entry list.
Yep. Well, I've seen that right now as a trend at some of the races early this season with the support from the pro late models. And I don't really know what the reasoning is behind that a little bit. I think, I think one thing we're seeing because we do have 4 or 5 more teams that are probably fixing to sign up for the super race.
Sure.
I think, I just think that, we're right there together, but you got a lot of good quality teams. And I think pushing this to a 1-day show for us, of course, now we have the optional practice on Friday, but,
Right.
The
Right.
1-day show for the 10 to win, it has helped attract some teams. We've seen some numbers increase on early registration because of that.
Again, we are talking with the driver. I'm talking with the promoter. Sorry, of Mr. Ben Sumner, Crisp Motorsports Park, where they fire back up. He used to be a driver. He did. He used to be a driver. That's right. Back in my Rolodex, I'm thinking here. So definitely. In addition to the pro late models and the super late models, the Southern Super Series, 10,000 to win. Ben, you're also doing 2 days of racing. Now, I know you got open practice on Friday, but you're actually racing on Friday and Saturday. And I got to say, I give big kudos to you, Ben, because you're realizing it's not just about the big show. You are bringing in your local divisions, and Legends and Bandoleros are running for 2 purses in 2 days as well. I think that's awesome also.
Well, the Legend and Bandoleros, I mean, they, we have a great support from those divisions, and it works out good for them with the points races. And we're looking, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if we don't have at least 60 teams between the Legend and Bandos for this deal.
Wow.
And they'll run on Friday night a full program, and then they'll come back Saturday and do it again. And then what we've done on our support divisions, we've split them up. We're going to run, 3 of them on Friday night, and then 3 on Saturday. That gives everybody the opportunity to be involved in the Georgia Spring Nationals, and so it just works out for us pretty good, doing it that way.
A few more minutes with Ben Sumner. Lane Riggs is coming up here as well. Winner at South Boston Speedway, sweeping the NASCAR late model stock. So we'll have him coming up next. And Dylan Ward, Trevor Ward, all on the way here on Finish Line. We're again with Ben Sumner, Crisp Motorsports Park on social media. Follow them. Ben, what other big races? I know obviously Speed Fest is your big event. That is your crown jewel event every year in January. You're looking to make this Georgia Spring Nationals, I think, be something marquee on a yearly basis. It's in its second inception. What are some other big events you've got planned this 2022 season at the Watermelon capital of the world, Crisp Motorsports Park? Because you really don't primarily race every weekend.
No, we're on a typically, 2 times a month. But in addition to the Spring Nationals, we have the Summer Nationals in August with the Southern Super Series, kind of the same type of deal we're doing here this coming weekend. We'll have open wheel modifieds with Stan Narrison coming in April the 9th. And then we have our 5-race series for our Pro Late Model Top Gun Challenge series that we do at the Speedway through the year. We've got some street stock specials, a lot of stuff going on, with our local divisions, our outlaw late models. We try to rotate divisions and special events like every other race. But our next marquee event, I guess you could say, would be the Georgia Summer Nationals with with the super late models coming back. And that would be August the 19th and 20th.
And again, you can go to Crisp Motorsports Park for all of the details, and the information on that is in. We're waiting to get Lane Riggs on. He'll be here coming up very shortly. We'll spend a few more minutes with Ben Sumner. And Ben, the life of a promoter today from what it was 5 years ago, what's the work that goes behind it today to be a successful promoter like yourself at Crisp?
I think everybody's got their own way of doing things, and you kind of have to do things. You can learn a lot from other promoters and watching and just observing and things and trying to take pieces from different places and put it into what you're doing. But also you've got you've got to do what works for you, because everything, each place may be just a little bit different from your clientele, your racers, and all that. So, but it's just a lot of time, a lot of stuff on the phone, constantly updating Facebook, uh, reaching out, writing the scripts for the TV and radio stuff and ticket giveaways and different things like that. We're doing like this race coming up. We're doing 2 car displays. One we're doing at a place in town right there off exit 101 beside the Chick-fil-A. And then we've got a second location at Smokey's Barbecue, which is one of our track sponsors, with a group, Race for a Cure autism awareness group. We're doing a car show there as well that morning. And so it's just constantly doing things like that. And it's just very time consuming, but it's very rewarding in the end because, I am very passionate about motorsports and I want everything to be successful. I want everybody to have a good experience and do the best job as possible to, make everybody look good. We've got a lot of sponsors, that we have on board through the season, and can't say enough about Keem Parts coming on board to present the Georgia Spring Nationals for us, and Budweiser stepped up on the pro late model side of it, and awesome. Without all their help, it wouldn't be possible. But just really appreciate both them coming on board. This will be the first time Keem Parts has been involved in one of our events, so just super excited about that. And hopefully that'll be a long-term partnership after they see what we have in attendance this weekend. We've got 46 teams right now pre-registered from 9 different states. Awesome. So on the late model entries, pro and super. So.
Yeah, in closing, man, the super late model entry list includes Tennessee's Michael House, Kyle Plott, Johnny Sauter, by the way, from DeVorce, Wisconsin. He used to be a big superstar in NASCAR. Jackson Boone, Steve Dorr, Hunter Robbins, obviously, coming off of a win at the race at the Montgomery 200 a couple of weeks ago. Bubba Pollard, he won Speedfest in January. Young man from Monroe, Jay Garcia, turning some heads. Daniel Dye now running ARCA. Jet Noling, Stephen Nasty, Michael Altwell winning that big race back in December before the end of the year at the Derby. Matt Craig, a former Cars Tour Super Late Model champion. Kyle Bryant, just some of the names of drivers that are going to be there for sure at Crisp Motorsports Park. And remember, if you can't be there live, Ben wants you there live. We want you there live. But if not, Race in America. Race in America will have the broadcast coverage from the event this weekend. Ben, we got to run, buddy. Lane Riggs is in the hot seat, but we thank you for being on Finish Line, my friend.
I do want to say one last thing. Congratulations to Corey Heim on his win at Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Kyle Busch Motorsports truck. He's been a big supporter of the Chris Motorsports Park. He won last year's Georgia Spring Nationals, and just proud for him and his family and team. And we've had a lot of guys come through that little old place there, Watermelon Capital Speedway, that's went on to some really good careers. So, but just congratulations. I knew he was on earlier and just wanted to throw that out there. Everybody, if you can, be there this weekend for the Georgia Spring Nationals presented by Keem Parts. We'd love to have you.
Certainly will do it. Ben Sumner, thank you, man. We appreciate it. And have a great show this weekend. Weather looks to be really good as well in southern Georgia, the watermelon capital of the world. That's Ben Sumner, Crisp Motorsports Park. Make your plans for the second annual Georgia Spring Nationals. And now we go from Ben Sumner in Georgia to North Carolina and Lane Riggs. And there he is in the Perrier Tank Lines, number 99, out of Bahama, North Carolina. Lane, first time ever on Finish Line. Welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's glad to be here. It's a little tough right now, but yeah, can you hear me now?
I can. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it's a little tough right now. Doing college at the same time and just getting out of classes and trying to race at the same time. But thank you for having me here. I'm really excited. We had a great weekend at South Boston Speedway. Awesome to go there and do that and pick up 2 W's.
Yeah, I was going to say that, to go to South Boston Speedway and win at South Boston Speedway in one race is a big feat, but to win two races in the same night, what a way to go for a grand slam, if you will. I think you got a lot of eyes watching you at America's hometown track in Virginia.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you to all the fans there at South Boston. We had a time, and we were just going to go there for fun and try to see what we could do. The track's an hour from our house, so it's almost my home track. But just with running all the Cars Tour stuff, we don't really get to run local races much. So this season we got 2 race cars to be able to run instead of just one. So we get to go out of our comfort zone and go run other places and just do what we want to this season, have fun with it. So we showed up. We were like, you know what? If we got some of the best late model drivers in the country here at South Boston. So if we can get a solid top 3, we'll be happy. And we ended up having a good enough car. We were able to win both. So surprised me in a good way. And I hope that we can go back there later in the season and have some more success.
And by the way, I want to thank race director Danny Willard, along with the Cars Tour and South Boston Speedway, for getting you lined up. He was telling me just about what an awesome performance you did at Caraway on Sunday afternoon. And I said, well, man, I just realized this. I've never had Lane Riggs on Finish Line. We need to get him on the program for sure. I know we've known each other for numerous years. I remember your dad, Scott, as well, in his endeavors in NASCAR, and now you building your legacy. But man, what is the plans for 2022? Are you going to try to scale back a little bit? Is the college life making you change your schedule a little bit for the season?
It's been really tough. The college life has definitely challenged me, taking almost the maximum amount of classes, trying to do all that and racing at the same time. So it's really tough. It's testing me, but I'm just trying to stick through it right now, try to do everything I can. And we don't have any commitment this year, so I didn't sign any contracts saying I had to be at any races. So I'm going to, if the college starts to take over, Dad always says school's more important. So do as much schoolwork as I can, do the best I can, and races I can on the side.
So basically, you're not committed to a Cars Tour national championship run. You're basically picking where you're going to race at. What big races you decide to go to, you'll go. If you want to go run local, you'll run local. If you want to run big events, you'll run big events. Obviously, does that change things mentality-wise, especially in the wheelhouse of so many years for you running towards a Cars Tour championship?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, I always go for wins at every race I go to, so that's never going to change. But I mean, a lot, later in the season when we have a pretty good championship running, we might be a little bit more careful, or the biggest thing was last season we only had one car to race, and we had to go to the Cars Tour races. So if they had a big local race somewhere, we weren't able to go do that. So now having 2 cars and not being tied into anything lets us go race when we want to. Like, South Boston was a last minute decision. I think we decided that Tuesday or Wednesday, we're like, hey, they're racing South Boston season open. Let's go run it with our car. And we went up there and had success. And I think, we'll go run at Ace and any big money late model races they have, we'll be at, and hopefully it can turn into something else.
Yeah, I was going to say, where else could we see you run at this year? And is there any new tracks that you've got planned on the schedule that you might be racing at that you've never raced at before?
Yeah, I know that the Cars Tour goes to a couple new ones. I know Goodyear All-American, which has been revamped, is going to be a new one for us. I'm sure we plan on going there. Ace Speedway, I know they don't have a lot of races this year, but they all seem to pay pretty good money and get good attention, so we'll be going there. I'm sure we'll be back at South Boston. Pretty much if the attention will be at that race, and I'm going to go try to find the race that has the most competition, is going to get the most recognition for winning, and we're going to go try to beat the best every weekend.
We're talking to Lane Riggs, of course, big winner in sweeping the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series Late Model Stocks at South Boston Speedway. Before I go any further, Lane, where do you see, obviously we've seen craziness in our country with everything from pre-COVID, post-COVID, dealing with COVID, to the high inflation of prices. Things are on the rise. Gas prices being what they want to be. 1 minute they're up, the next minute they're down, which, by the way, it felt pretty nice to be able to fill my damn car up the other day, and instead of putting $4.25 for a gallon of fuel, it was only like $3.85. So I'm happy to see that. Maybe the powers that be in the country will get their head out of you-know-what and fix that. But, what I will say is this. It, it seemed like, from looking at the stats and the recaps from South Boston and many tracks across the area of the U.S. this weekend, that it's not affecting the fan attendance, much less the car counts. You had to go up against about 23 late models to win both races Saturday. What's your take of where you think we're heading as we move into the spring and summer months?
Look, I think that short track and grassroots racing is on an uprise right now. I think that the fans are realizing that, it might not be on national TV or Fox Sports or anything like that, but it's just as good or better racing than what we see on Sundays. And I think that the fans are really starting to understand that, especially broadcasting on and Racing America and Cars Tour TV, really stepping up their broadcasting game. I feel like this is going to make the people that only watch on Sunday watch grassroots racing more, appreciate it more, and see that this is the most real racing you can see.
Definitely. Let's talk about your dad real quick, man. What was it like watching your dad grow up and having his legacy running the next quick NASCAR car and then moving into the Valvoline number 10 car and running in the NASCAR Cup Series, and the lessons learned, the value of his day in the era? What does it mean to you, and has it helped you be the driver that you're becoming and you setting the bar to have your own legacy in the sport, Lane?
Yeah, when I was younger, it was kind of bad timing for me as a kid. When he was getting out of it, see, when I was young, I thought, oh, everybody's dad drives race cars. This is normal. As a kid, I didn't know any different. And then when he started getting out of the sport was when I started getting interested in it. So it was bad timing there. But the good timing was that he was able to focus 100% on me when I started racing, really helped me out. And he's gone to every single one of my races I've ever had and pretty much been crew chief, spotter, cheerleader. He's been the biggest part of my race team from day one. So the timing for that was good and bad in both areas, but he left a big legacy. I hope that he's really confident in me, and I hope that I can go even further than he did.
I'll just tell you this on a jokingly off the record. He's the reason why I'm a fan of Nesquik. Because I never really knew what Nesquik was until I saw that car and saw the bunny on the race car. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get Nesquik now. So every time I ever see Nesquik or want Nesquik, that is the chocolate milk that I prefer to get is Nesquik. So for sure. Charles in Texas, you got a question for our guest. That is Mr. Lane Riggs on Finish Line.
I don't actually, but I too
that's a first.
Go for the Nesquik. So I remember the car. So I mean, it was a very very iconic car. I mean, it was just fun to watch on race day.
It certainly was, man. Definitely. How much Nesquik do you think you consumed back in the day when you were a kid growing up, Lane?
Oh, that's what I grew up on was Nesquik. That's all we had. And as much free Nesquik as they gave us, and powder, and had strawberry and chocolate and banana milk. They had everything you can imagine. I remember Dad always talking about when they would win races in Victory Lane, they wouldn't sling water or sling Gatorade or anything. They would sling that nasty chocolate milk everywhere, and he said it stunk after everything would get old and gross, but he said it was all worth it in the end.
Smelled like buttermilk after a while, did it? Had buttermilk on the brain the other day. I was jokingly messing with somebody. It was so for sure. Oh, definitely dairy products. You got to love it. Besides the Indy 500 and drinking the milk after the greatest spectacle in racing, Scott Riggs slung chocolate milk in Victory Lane, or strawberry milk, or vanilla milk, or whatever. They have all so many flavors now for sure. Definitely. A few more minutes with Lane Riggs. We're coming up on the top of the hour. And, of course, coming up next will be our next guest panel of guests coming up with Mr. Trevor Ward. Trevor Ward in the Hedgecock Racing Chassis. I think you know Trevor very well. Obviously, another young driver like yourself, Lane. And, man, what is it like, racing in the Cars Tour, making this grind, trying to handle the school life, running now you're not running per se for a championship on the Cars Tour, but you can pick and choose where you want to go to. If you want to go, Bahama, North Carolina is primarily near the lake. If you want to take a weekend off and go to the lake with the family, you can do that. do you feel a lot more comfortable with the schedule you have for 2022 because you don't have so much pressure on you to be at one place and one track and race back and forth every week?
I do. If we're not on our game with our program, we might not, go to the race. We'll step back a weekend, say, hey, let's regroup, let's fix the cars, let's make sure that when we do go to the racetrack, we're 100% ready to go win a race. We're not going to go halfway and say, oh, after last weekend, if we just finish top 10, we'll be happy. No, if we're going to show up to the racetrack, we're going to try to get the win. So just making sure we're prepared, making sure everything's right, and getting to pick and choose when we do that, it's a big benefit. And hey, like you said, I might go stick my toes in some sand one weekend if I get a little burnt out.
What is what are you going to college for? What are you trying to major in, bud?
I'm actually going to UNC Charlotte right now, and I'm majoring in the mechanical engineering aspect. It is hard. It's really hard. It's interesting stuff because you can correlate race cars and my passion for it, but at the same time, it's a lot of math, a lot of equations and tests. I had a test today, tomorrow, Friday, and Monday, and on top of having to race at Hickory. So I have to plan everything I do nowadays, including eating, and my schedule's always full. But in the end, I know it'll be worth it.
And I appreciate you taking the time out of your school schedule and your crazy Wednesday to join us here on Finish Line as well, my friend. Are you going to be at Hickory this weekend with the Cars Tour? Is that the plan, to run Hickory this weekend?
Yep, that is the plan, to race Hickory. We will plan on being there. Dad's getting the car ready at home right now. Call him every couple hours, talking about it, trying to make sure we're 100%.
I tell you what, man, that's got to be, you were talking about going to engineering college at UNC Charlotte. By the way, go 49ers. Are they still in the NCAA tournament, men or women? Or are they out? Are they eliminated? Do they qualify? I can't remember. My bracket got screwed up the first day of the tournament.
You're asking the wrong. I wish I had you put with it.
Gotcha.
I wish I put with it.
I know that when Gonzaga and Baylor got beat, Kentucky got beat, Iowa got beat, all these teams, I was just like, okay, well, Duke's out. I think Carolina's still in the Sweet 16, I believe. I think NC State women's basketball is still in the women's Sweet 16. So, my girlfriend's team's Auburn. They got eliminated by Miami on Sunday night. She was depressed. My team, Alabama, they didn't have a chance in hell. They got eliminated. So, it is what it is. But you got to love March Madness. You got to love it whenever you could just have fun and talk brackets and sports. But Lane, my question, man, the final question, we'll let you go as well here because we got Trevor Ward coming up and we got to do network ID and thank our sponsors at the top of the hour. You're going to school for engineering. And there's opportunities there. There's an opportunity to become a NASCAR engineer. You could go into engineering with a race team. You could be. Would that make you consider to step out of the race car as a driver, Lane, and maybe try to look into a career as a motorsports engineer? Maybe
it's a possibility there. And as of now, my main goal is to be a professional race car driver with an engineering degree that has the knowledge of what I'm driving. And I hate to call it a fallback plan. We all know how hard it is nowadays to get sponsorships and opportunities.
Certainly.
And there's only 40 people at the top level nowadays. So I wouldn't call it a fallback plan, but I definitely feel like no matter what, I'll have the opportunity to have a career path in motorsports throughout my whole life.
You know what? And I'll say this in closing. There are some people out there, and I don't want to say this for anybody to take this the wrong way, but there are some people out there that use their father or mother or family's name to build their legacy as well. Because of the last name that they have or entail, they feel like everything should be spoon or hand given to them. And as long as I've known Scott Riggs and as long as I've known you, Lane, that just don't happen in your family. Everything that you got to go, you go for, you work for. Your dad doesn't give you everything on a silver platter. Obviously, that makes you respect things a whole lot more.
Yep, that's right. I wouldn't say giving me a hard time, but he's made sure that I have to work for everything that I get. And with this new race car, I mean, me and him work on it equally with each other. So I know every nut and bolt, every ounce of it. And it's a lot different than a lot of people. A lot of drivers come in the pit, say, my car won't turn, it's tight, it's loose. I don't say that. We come in the pits, I'm like, we need to put this spring in it, or we need to move this truck arm, or we need to change this bump stop. We talk part versus doing, depending on what I say. But it's different than other people. But I feel like if I do get to a big team in the future, that'll be really beneficial to me as a driver to help me and the team have communication with each other.
Thank your sponsors in closing. And man, we appreciate you being on. But I do have one more question. Are you a fan of iRacing? Do you use iRacing to try to help you get around places like Langley or Hickory or Southern National or even South Boston, tracks that are on the iRacing simulator to help you on the real race days?
I do. It's fun. It's fun to do that at night. Me and some friends get on there and beat and bang around and brawl. I wish I had more time to do it. I know over the summer I do it a lot at night and in preparation for the races. It seems like tracks you've never been to, it helps you a little bit just to understand the basic of it. But it's so hard when you're just sitting there. You don't feel the G-forces. You can't feel the car. But the biggest thing I've noticed that it helps racecraft a lot. Restarts, positioning, saving, understanding where you need to put yourself on the track. But straight up speed behind the wheel, I don't think it's that much, but it's a good time.
Certainly. Well, listen, bud, thank your sponsors. I know you got Pure Year Tank Line. Shout out to Stacy Pure Year and all the great people there at that place. If you're looking for a job that pays $100,000 a year in the truck driving industry, then you need to contact Pure Year Tank Lines today. But you got so many other people that help you out, Lane, and we appreciate you being on Finish Line. I know you get back to class.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Got to thank Pure Year Tank Lines, Turner Asphalt, Creech Heating and Air, Jacobs Glass Company, Carrington Contractors, United Auto Parts, DreamWorks Motorsports, RPM Roll-Off Service, Glen Tire Sales, Riggs Auto Repair for sure. And we actually have a new sponsor. University Ford is going to be on the car this year. So
that's
gonna
awesome.
Try to talk about it a little bit. It's going to be the Peyton Sellers Danville Toyota versus the Lane Riggs University Ford car. So a little bit of nostalgic rivalry we're going to try to bring back and try to get the fans involved.
Yes, sir. Certainly, man, definitely. Well, listen, Lane, it's been a pleasure having you here on Finish Line. Tell your father I said hello and great success throughout the rest of the season. You win some more big races, man. We'll have you back in the hot seat again, sir.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good day.
He is Lane Riggs. I'm Wesley Outland, and that has been our number one at Finish Line. And when we come back after a word from our sponsors, we'll go to Trevor Ward next.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately than having to go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. and find out why the concept is true to stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
Thank you. Welcome back to Finish Line. You know, you would think we've been doing this since what, Charles? September of last year? Oh, damn it, I'll be nice. October of last year. You would know the route. It's all good. It's all right. Hey, you'll be happy for me, Charles. I'm not drinking Pepsi today. Look at this. You like this? I got to promote my buddy Bubba Wallace. Look at this. Dr. Pepper and cream soda.
Yeah. It's the best Dr. Pepper they've ever come out with. Knowing my luck, they'll get rid of it in a month, but it's still the best one they've ever had.
You know, it reminds me of my media partner, reporter friend, Matt Weaver. And, of course, Matt Weaver from Auto Week, and he done a whole bunch of other stuff. Now he's with Racing America as a senior editor, writer. Saw him back in at the Battle of the Stars. Last time I ran into him was at a race. And one of the things that he had he was a fan of. Do you remember the cinnamon Coca-Cola? Do you remember the cinnamon Coke when it came out, Charles? Do you remember them?
No, but I'm allergic to cinnamon, so that's probably why.
Oh, never mind. Okay, well, okay, we don't want to kill you. But anyhow, he's a fan of cinnamon Coca-Cola, and when the cinnamon Coke came out, he would literally. We're trying to fill time, by the way. We're trying to get Trevor Ward connected. I just sent him a text. Hopefully, he'll be here in a few seconds. Cinnamon Coke is what he had. He was a fan of, and it didn't last very long. This was like a fab about 3 years ago, I think, is what it was. But this man, Matt Weaver, Charles, loved some cinnamon Coke. He bought multiple, and I'm talking about multiple quantities of cinnamon Coke. He would keep it in his car. He would keep them in his house. He would keep them in his garage. He would keep them in his refrigerator. He would keep them in his bedroom. He'd keep them in his storage unit. He had multiple, and maybe the word multiple is not enough of an expletive to explain this explanation. He had, I think he told me, close to 200 cases of cinnamon Coke. Charles, he might still have some today. That's how much he loved it.
That's a lot of Coke.
That's a lot of Coke. I say the same thing myself. That is a lot of Coke. We welcome you to Finish Line. Charles Wooten is in the house. I am Wesley Outland. Trevor Ward, we're waiting to get him, the winner at Concord Speedway in the late models this past weekend. As always, you can use the hashtag Finish Line. Go ahead and put our little insignia down on the bottom. La, 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 la.
Oh, you mean this thing?
La, 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 la. There you go. But we need to put Wesley Outland and Charles Wooten. You know what? I done said it. We need a whole new new stadium. We need a whole new production studio here. I change my backdrop every week for you, Charles. That gives you more work to do.
I know.
I'm just thinking of what I do like the fancy glow and the logos and everything, though. I do. But, I don't know. I just think sometimes it'd be good to try to think outside the box. You always are coming up with some cool things, man. You know what? We're waiting to get Trevor Ward. Let's talk iRacing, bud. Where do you think iRacing's going at in the last couple of weeks? We had some fun events in the Northwest Cup and Truck Series here recently, for sure. And Sim 500's going well.
iRacing's going big places. Personally, LSRTV is going really big places, primarily in the poorhouse for me. But that's like you guys. Just got done. Backtrack for the ones that heard the raw feed, they knew what I was doing in the back end.
Trevor Ward's coming in. He'll be here any second. Go ahead.
But we are upgrading one of our PCs because we need new features with the new 12th gen processors to go with the 3000 card series that we have. Well, one thing leads to another. Before you know it, you get a processor, then you have a motherboard. Now I didn't look, and it uses DDR5 RAM, so I got to buy new RAM. It's a snowball effect around here that just he keeps growing. That's that's what you got to do to keep up with what iRacing is doing when it comes to just what you can do. We want to keep delivering multicam, driver cams, all that, and well, that's just the product of it.
Certainly, definitely. We're waiting to get guest number 3, Trevor Ward. We're trying to get him connected. He said he's actually watching. He's just said, "What do I need to do?" I'm sorry, I lost track of time. These guys are working. And here's the thing, too, Charles. And we talk. You get the guys like Corey Heim or Corey LaJoy or the big NASCAR guys, Chandler Smith. We've had on obviously Derek Griffith going to run an Xfinity Series. Andy Jankowiak on ARCA. Guys of that level, we've talked with them, and here on the show, they're full-time drivers, except for a guy like Andy Jankowiak who's working in the Buffalo area. Selling pizzas. He's a pizza man. And all that money he makes, he puts it towards his race car. He's the man that is living the dream out of Tonawanda, New York. Obviously, Andy Jankowiak. Trevor Ward, another one of those guys. Ward Performance. He's got his race car business, Ward Performance, in the racing program. Hedgecock Racing Chassis number 41. I think we got him. I think we do. We have him. Let's bring him in on the program, ladies and gentlemen. Driver the number 41 entry Hedgecock Racing Chassis and winner at the Caraway Speedway on Sunday afternoon. It is Trevor Ward. Trevor, do me a favor. Take your phone and turn it like this, brother. Look at that. See how big you got? Don't tell me we lost him. There he is. Trevor, what's up, man? Welcome to Finish Line, sir. Did he freeze up?
There we go.
Oh, there he is. There he is. There you are. He's back. Hey, Trevor, how's it going, my friend? Welcome to Finish Line. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
What's going on, man?
Always good. Good seeing you. Good talking to you. What a great job you did, of course, on Sunday at Caraway Speedway. And after looking at some previous social posts, you made a decision with the race team at the last minute to go to Caraway. You weren't planning to go on Sunday. What made the change happen? And obviously, it's got to be you're glad you did because you won the race.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We run that $30,000 race at Orange County. We run that race down there, the North State National race, and we had some issues with the car, and
Sure.
they just wasn't real happy with it. We wanted to figure some stuff out, and we seen it was our race, last minute deal, and they were like, "Well, let's jump in there and let's get down there and see what we can do." And so we went down there and we just made a weekend out of it.
I'll tell you what changes did you do from the race car from a couple of weeks ago or 2 weeks ago in the old North State Nationals, which, by the way, we had Carson Quappelon, who won that race, the 30,000 to win race last week on the program. What changes did you change from the car? Because obviously it was a totally different day. You went from cold, cloudy temperatures or cloudy conditions on Sunday for the old North State Nationals, and when it finishes at night. Then you go to this past Sunday where you won, where it was nice 65, 70 degrees, but the wind was blowing like hell in the sunshine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a different car for sure. We freed it up a little bit for our Sunday night show, and it was different carburetor rules, obviously, from the Cars Tour and the Caraway Weekly stuff. And we knew we needed to free the car up, and we got there, we unloaded, and the car was pretty good, but we didn't know what kind of tires we was on because it's a different tire than what we normally run is in the car store. So we was running our SXs, and we was on an older SX tire from last year. So we didn't really know what tires was going to do, but we thought it was going to tighten it up a little bit. So we ended up freeing it up as much as we could, and we missed qualifying just a little bit. But when the race started, we knew the track position was everything. We was starting second. We had to get up through the field there, and we had to pass Coy for the lead, and I knew I needed to do it early because it was hot, and normally about 30, 40 laps in, and pressure starts building, and everything starts getting loose and free and on the edge. So I knew I needed to get by him while I could. So we kind of played chess right there with a lap car and got by him, and from then on we just kept him 2 to 3 out and made a good deal out of it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, listen, the Ward family, you think of you, Trevor, you think of Dylan Ward, you think of all the people that are in the industry, bud. Trevor Ward Racing, you're building your legacy. And you've been quite a talent behind the wheel. I mean, every time I see you, you've always been very competitive. You've always been there. Maybe would like to get more wins, obviously, than what you've got. But, I mean, you're just building your resume. Am I correct? Just getting more knowledge and laps and
Oh,
experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with the Hitchcock racing crowd, I mean, that's helped me out a lot. I mean, I've got a lot of customers I keep up there now in late model stuff and building turnkey stuff and putting bodies on. We've done some bodies for Connor Hall, and we're just trying to keep that going. I got one for Lee McCall. Lee McCall is bringing his car this week, I think tomorrow actually. And I just got so much on my plate doing it, and just me and a buddy of mine, Corbin, we keep it going. And it's been a lot easier running the J Hitchcock house car with Bobby Hall from High Tech Codings. It's a lot easier keeping me straight and not having to thrash last minute all the time when they got the manpower to do it. And it's just put me in a lot better frame to be a better driver and focus on my driving. And where I've had to do it all, it's a lot easier for me to just go win races with them. But it's going to be some pick and choose races. We probably run a few more races with them. I was hoping maybe run Hickory, but we probably might set out and run that $10,000 race down there at Carteret next weekend. It's going to be a pretty good show. So we won that $5,000 race last year, and we got a pretty good package to go down there and be the best we can. And hopefully that help us on some funding and be able to pick on some more races as long as the tire situation gets straightened out.
Yeah, of course. That's a big thing with the tire situation. And Langley Austin kind of hinted on it a little bit. And I was at Langley's track at Franklin County the other day, and we kind of talked a little bit about it off air. I will say off the mic, because I did promise him the things that he told me are in confidence. But when they are unveiled, I think it's going to really open the eyes to a lot of people in regards to the tire shortages and things that are going on in this industry. Some fair, some not fair, some conspiracy, if you will. But it's really, once you think about it, and what I was told talking to him about it, it's really not a conspiracy about it at all. There's pretty much just plain truth to it. But for sure. And honestly, Trevor, it hurts people like you. You look at these national guys, they're going to have tires. They're going to have fuel. They're going to have any and everything they need. It is the local short track level that is somehow, some way got to figure out a way to fix this, or we're going to suffer from it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's getting to the point to where we don't know who's on what tires, and who's getting these tires, and who's getting the best tire. I mean, it's just so hard. We don't know where we're at. We can't go to this race with a set of stickers like we used to. It's really hard. Um, Trying to figure out, what tires we need to cycle out, and trying to get left fronts and stuff like that. I mean, it's just really been hard. And I've been stashing tires, all year last year, trying to keep a set together and taking left fronts and making tires out of them, and trying to get the best set we can so we can get the best field car for the race, and just trying to get all we can. But cars tour definitely is where we need to be at. I feel like in my career I need to be in the cars tour race. I've been racing now since 2014, racing late models and trying to be the best I can every week and week out. And the cars tour is definitely where the competition's at and where you need to be at. And that's where the money's at, and it's where everything is at. So it puts you in a better for at the end of the year when we're some of these bigger races, and kind of where you're at. So obviously keeping the tires and keeping the tire situation straight would be the best thing for us, and keeping the best tires on the cars we can. But I've been more towards focusing on trying to do a lease program for my Trevor Ward Motorsports deal, and I've kind of like stepping out just a little bit and kind of letting just me be kind of the crew chief, I guess you should say, and keep the team going. And it's been a lot easier for me just to focus on working on it. And we had Connor Hall, obviously,
Sure.
he raced for me down there at the Thanksgiving Classic last year. And it was a stepping stone. First time I leased the car out, and we ended up with a P4 finish, and I haven't really had much hit on it after that, but I haven't really advertised. I've had a lot going on over the off season, but I would definitely, like to do some lease races for some other people, and just race when I can, run the big races. I've been thinking about the Triple Crown, of course. That's a big deal. 3 races: Martinsville, Langley, and South Boston.
That's right.
That's just racing where the money's at right now because everything's so expensive.
I got to ask this question because you kind of opened the door, so I'm just going to kick it in. When you are seeing somebody else drive your race cars, what is the psyche like when you have that go on?
I mean, it's actually cool. I actually like seeing the piece that we built and put on the racetrack. Of course, I mean, it's actually I enjoyed watching. When Connor drove the car, it was a really big deal for us. I mean, I loved watching my car. I mean, me and Corbin, the guy that helps me, we was sitting there looking at it. I was like, man, that's a pretty cool piece we built.
Right. I got you.
Cool. And I enjoyed it, especially when he's clean and we got it in. He's coming home.
I think our buddy Trevor's in a bad location. Or is it storming where you're at, bud? Is the weather affecting you over there? The internet's going in and out, in and out, in and out. So I figured it was something of that caliber. A lot of people don't realize weather can mess up your broadcast signal, internet, video, and stuff. So we'll still stay with you though, as we still have a few more minutes. Yeah, you're coming through now, but it's coming in and out, in and out, in and out. We've got Landon River Lewis coming up here at 2:20. He's actually late, or he's coming in here now, so it's what I've been told. So, well, listen, Trevor, we're going to let you go, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here on Finish Line. Congratulations to you. Before I do let you go, though, my friend, thank you for being on first time ever. I do want you to thank your sponsors. Look forward to seeing you. And I must say in closing, you see the blue here? I know it's not matching the blue on your race car. Damn, I like your race car. That wrap job on that race car is phenomenal.
Heck yeah, I've got to thank Jim from Digital Repair, Mike Bledsoe Mechanical. I've got to thank Jay Hedgecock, the racing team, of course, Bobby Hall from High Tech Coatings. Just everybody, is that's been a part of my career. I can't thank them enough. The good Lord above, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the good Lord above, of course, and him blessing me in every way possible. But like I said, we're going to try to keep our heads, get some more wins this year and make the best out of it for sure.
Beautiful race car, man. Loving it. Hope to see you again. And big shout out to Hedgecock Race Cars and Hedgecock Chassis for all that they're doing, man. Trevor, thanks for being on Finish Line to you, bud.
Hey, thank you, Wesley.
No problem, man. Trevor Ward, ladies and gentlemen, just outside of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, joining us on Finish Line. And now we go to Race City, USA. The young man from the beaches of North Carolina to now Hornaday Race Cars. And, boy, pull out a broomstick. Got to do it with me now. Come on now, Charles. Got to do it with me. This is my pantomime of sweeping, if you will, without a broomstick. Landon River Lewis, welcome back to Finish Line, my friend. It's good to talk to you always.
Yes, Wesley. Thank you for having me back.
Yes, sir. Hey, listen, big weekend for you. Sweeping in the Joe Ryan Race Cars Legend Program, sweeping the Legend Cars at the Easter Bunny 150 at Hickory Motor Speedway. And then you said, we're not going home. Let's make a trip to Caraway. I'm going to win there, too, from the pole. You never look back. It's always good seeing you and your dad, Jonathan, and hook it up with, obviously, Ron Hornaday, who is not only a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion, but NASCAR Hall of Famer, Candace, everybody that you've got around your circle of friends and family for that matter. Things are going good in Landon's world, I believe.
Yeah, things are definitely a dream come true moment. And I never thought at 16 years old, I'd be living this dream that I always wanted to live out. So it's been a pretty cool journey for sure.
Hey, so let's recap the weekend, man. Obviously, going from Hickory Motor Speedway to then turning around and winning at Caraway, it was a fun time for you, it looked like.
Yeah, we had good speed all weekend. I was really proud of Joe Ryan and Billy Workman and, just everyone that had hands on and going into this weekend. We started off at Hickory on Friday night. We showed really good speed during practice, during qualifying, and I felt like we had a good piece and ended up pulling the win off on Friday. And, Saturday was a little different because the heat was a lot hotter outside and the track was a lot slicker. So I was a little bit on the nervous side a little bit, but I was very confident in Joe Ryan that he would give me a fast piece. And, we set out and ended up winning the race by like straightaway. So we were pretty good at Hickory, but it wouldn't be possible without none of my guys. So.
And I'll tell you this as well. You look at the weather conditions from what they were Friday to Saturday at Hickory, with it being cold a little bit on Friday, but sunny. Saturday was partly cloudy. You did have some weather come in on Friday night, and then windy as hell on crazy wind on Saturday. And still sunny, but then you go to Sunday and sunny skies, 70 degrees, still dealing with the wind. But the biggest thing here is you've got a big half-mile track like Caraway Speedway coming from a 3/10 mile track like Hickory Motor Speedway. You've really got to adapt, and Joe Ryan and the crew have got to figure out those cars quickly. And you driving as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Friday night, it was very cloudy all day. The wind started raining a little bit. So I think it goes to show how good Joe Ryan race cars are, just adapting to the weather really well. And, driver coaching and just Joe and Billy Workman and Mr. Ron Hornaday, they've helped me become the driver I am. So it really proved how good Joe Ryan race cars are, from Friday being really rainy and windy, and then Saturday just really sunny but a lot of wind. And then Sunday, it was just a beautiful day. So it definitely proves why Joe Ryan race cars are the best.
I asked you this question at Victory Lane on Caraway Speedway TV, and I asked this again here on the show. With the success you've got from dirt to pavement, from Legends to ARCA, your second start in ARCA, you won at Springfield. Was it Springfield or DeCoin? It was Springfield, wasn't it?
DeCoin. I finished
DeCoin. It was DeCoin.
Yep.
Right. The coin, you won your second ARCA start, and you won on the national level. What keeps you from moving into a late model or moving up into full time in an ARCA ride or whatnot, and going and run with Joe Ryan and running these legend cars? And it's not a cut down; it's props, because to me it seems like you're not forgetting where you came from.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these legend cars, they're one of a kind. And you see a lot of NASCAR drivers come up through the ranks, and, they've come from legend cars. And I believe that legend cars are the best tool because they're so challenging to drive, and every lap's not the same. So I feel like legend cars are where you need to be if you want to make yourself a better driver. And then, just running my ARCA races, Mr. Ron Hornaday has always helped me and make me become a better driver, of course. But he wants me to be in like a C+ car to go run B+ material in it, and show that if I do go win an ARCA race, that I'm not paying for the best ride out there to go win it. So it was pretty cool to go win the ARCA race for sure. And, it's very cool to have all these amazing people around me that I never thought that I would have. But it's definitely a dream come true.
Well, I will say this. We've known each other, Landon, for a long time, and I think it's a testament of the hard work that you and your father, John, and your entire family have put into you and your racing career, because, there's been times where you were literally – let everybody know you're in Race City, USA right now. You're in Mooresville. You're not at home. You're not at the beaches of North Carolina anymore. You're in the racing hub of the Queen City, if you will, where a lot of things get started there in business for people's careers. So you're right in a perfect placement.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that I work up here all during the year with Joe Ryan race cars, and learning a race car in general is huge. But being in Mooresville is way bigger because there's a lot of important people up here. And just to be around racing in general is very huge in my career. And, I started at 13 years old working up here and working through the summer, and then going home and doing school, and then the next summer coming back. And, it's got to the point where I love it so much that I'm homeschooled now, and I'm up here all during the year, and I just got my license. So I'm able to go home when I want to, but I'll say that I don't go home much. I'm usually up here for about 3 months, and I go home for about a week, and then I'm back up here working and tearing down cars and just helping the team get to the racetrack every weekend.
By the way, I do want to send a big thank you to Candace Hornaday, Ron's wife, and your PR media person, because, and I say this in a humbling sense, as you climb the ladder to success and become successful in what you're doing, there are certain protocols that people have to follow to get a hold of you, to have you on the program. You just can't recently, just as a friend, say, hey, Landon, good job, buddy, let's have you on the show. No. You got to go through your dad. You got to go through Candace. You got to go through the proper channels, Joe Ryan Race Cars, because you're busy. You literally had to step away from the race shop, I think, to be able to sit down in the hot seat to join us on this show today. And I appreciate that. And thank you to Candace.
Yeah, it's very. I live a tough life, but it's all for the good reasons. Candace Hornaday is very hard on me, but there's a reason why she's hard on me, because she wants to help me and help me get to the top level. So, I wake up every morning, come to the shop, work all day, and go home. Wake up, do the same thing every day. So, I love it. That's why I'm here. And it's also cool to get to Carson Brown. He finished third at Caraway and had a really solid run. He's here at the shop right now, and I'm about to go, when I get off of this, go help him tear down his car and get it ready for next week. So it's really cool to help out the kids too. He's like a little brother to me that I never had. And, to help him develop his racing and help him learn the cars just like I did at 13 years old. So it's pretty cool to be up here too, and, to help him out, to help all the kids that want to come to the shop and work. And, I think that's where a lot of kids need is, learn how to work on your race car. And that's huge. If you, like Mr. Ron's taught me, if you know how to work on your race car, you'll make it a long ways in racing.
And I will say this. I've always said this, Landon, and I don't think I really got to worry about that with you. I've talked with your dad on several occasions about this. Some people, they get to that certain level of success and they forget where they come from, whether it's the cockiness, the arrogance, the ego that settles in, having time for the people that might have helped them. Never lose that. I don't think you ever will. That personality, that drive you have is a great passion to have, Landon. And I will say this. There's a video. If you go on Landon River Lewis's Motorsports Facebook page, there is a video that is from a Charlotte News affiliate. On a TV article, and it was about Joe Ryan Race Cars, and it was about you and Carson Brown, and it talked about Austin Terriot and Ron Hornaday and being champions of what they've done in NASCAR Camping World Truck and on the ARCA level. And Ron Hornaday said, and I quote this, we could send Landon off to drive for anybody they want to, whether it's Venturini, whether it's Gibbs, for anybody on the levels of ARCA to go to the level, to do this, to do that. But then they're not going to be successful. We want them to go through the highs, the lows, the roller coaster ride of this motorsports endeavor and earn it. Earn it. You know that you can do it. Your second ARCA start, you won. You finished 7th in your first race in ARCA. So the talent's there, but it's not just, hey, let's get this kid, let's throw him in a cup car, let's see what he can do in the Cup Series.
Yeah, and that's going back to the humbleness thing. That's what I try to teach every kid that I get to work with. Kevin Harvick, I'm working with his son now, Keelan, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, in Mooresville, I get the opportunities to go to Hickory when we test or wherever we're going to want to go and work with Keelan Harvick. That's a huge step in my career to get to, never thought I would be helping Kevin Harvick's son. And, to help Carson Brown, that's what I teach him, to always don't forget where you come from. That's huge, and it'll go a long ways when you get up to the ranks. And the biggest thing is what Ron's always taught me is you have to earn it, and that's what he did. He earned it. He earned his respect in racing, and that's why he's Hall of Famer.
We have a few more minutes with Landon Lewis here again, driver for Hornaday Race Cars, Joe Ryan Racing, so much more. Dirt, are we going to see you running dirt this year? Are you going to run pavement this year? What is the plan? I know I asked you that question on Caraway TV at Sunday at the race, but what is the plans here that you can tell us on Finish Line of some of the great things you've got lined up for 2022?
Yeah, we got a pretty busy schedule. Running a lot of legend car races this year, hitting all the major national events. That's going to be very fun to do once again this year, and hopefully try to go for the sweep again this year in the Pro Division. So we have that coming up. I have a couple ARCA races coming up. Not sure where at yet, but we're having a couple ARCA races this year. hopefully run a late model race here and there. But there's definitely a lot on the plate right now for this year, and I can't wait to get the year started. It's already started this
It's
great
already
this year.
started.
It's already started off amazing this year, but I can't wait to see what we can do at the end of the year.
I was about to say, you're not even done yet. I mean, hell, you were running in Inverness, Florida, in Citrus County back in February during speed weeks. I mean, there is no off time. Charles in Texas, you got a question or a comment on our buddy Landon Lewis? You remember him when he won the ARCA race at DeCoin. We had him on finish line back in September of last year.
Yeah, I don't have a question, just more of a comment. 16 and doing all this at 16, I was probably playing Minecraft on Xbox or something. So I don't, congrats to be where you at a young age, because I was probably playing Minecraft or probably something I was wasting time at that age.
Yes, thank you.
What keeps you focused at a young age, Landon, doing that, besides wanting to go run, jump, and climb trees?
It's all about the drive. You have to have a drive to be where you want to be and when you grow up. And my drive is obviously to make it to the Cup Series, and that's what my goal is. It's a big goal to have. But with the help of Ron Hornaday, Candace Hornaday, his wife Lindy Hornaday, and the whole Hornaday family, Joe Ryan. It's very humbling to have them around me to have that drive to go do it.
What is it like though? The word homesick sometimes comes to play, but as long as I've known you, you've been on the road and you don't mind traveling. But is there ever any time where you kind of miss being away from the beaches, being away from home, being away from dad and mom, and are you happy being though where you're at it in the race shops with the family of the Joe Ryan race cars and Hornaday camp?
Yeah, it's always in the back of my mind of going home and seeing my family. But this is a once in a lifetime deal to do. And I know when I get older, I can go home, see my family, and I'm trying to live it up while I can and just ride this dream out. And hopefully, when I get to the Cup Series, I can have my family right by my side and go everywhere with them. So.
You know what? I'm looking here at your statistics. I mean, pretty much you had to kind of get to the front there in the Legends races at Hickory, but you started on the pole. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but that Legends car race is the first time in 6 years that the plan is they're going to start running the iNext US Legend cars on a regular scheduled basis at Caraway. What do you think of running around that track? I mean, we use the equivalent of the Bandoleros as Daytona or Talladega. The Legends are a little bit faster, but I mean, you're drafting going around that like you see on the Cup car on Sunday.
Yeah, back to what you're saying about how it's been 6 years since they've been there. Joe Ryan, he actually was leading the race with 5 to go and ended up losing the lead with 5 to go and ended up finishing second. So that was pretty cool to go back and get him a win. And, I feel like Hickory is a perfect place for a legend car and for racing in general, because the place is so wore out. It has so much characteristic to it, and it makes a driver out of you for sure. And, that's why we carry a lot of our kids testing there, because it really teaches you every way around a racetrack.
Well, listen, bud, we're going to let you go. Our next guest is in the hot seat. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule, which, by the way, is Mason Maggio from Florida, from North Carolina to Florida. We get ready to go down south. So, but Landon, thank you for your, not only on a professional level, as an announcer to a driver, seeing you at the pit area, talking with you, doing the PR, having you on the radio shows and the TV programs. But thank you for the person you are and a friendship that we have that goes besides that. And your entire family, you're an awesome young man. And, definitely I wish you all the success of everything you have coming your way, because I think we're going to be seeing you on a Cup car definitely one day. Dream big, set your goals high. I think you're doing that. You're amongst the right people like the Hornadays and your dad and Joe Ryan race cars and Austin Terriot. And I think we're going to be seeing you competing with William Byron and all the NASCAR Cup guys, Chase Elliott one day for sure. So thank your sponsors. And again, appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you, Wesley. And, it wouldn't be possible without all my sponsors, 19th Green, Belgroves with BGE, Joe Ryan Race Cars, the whole Hornaday family. They're huge. Dave Reeves for coming on this year and helping me out. There's a lot of Bill Steen for coming on again this year and helping me. It takes a whole big group to make this whole deal possible. So it wouldn't be possible without no one. Thank you.
Well, listen, bud, thank you so much for your time. There you go. Good luck wherever you go. Where are you racing at next?
I'm racing where am I going? And next weekend, I will be in Ohio to run the Dirt Legends for a double feature. And then the week after that, we leave for Nashville for a week. So we have a busy schedule for sure, but really looking forward to get after it.
Certainly do. Follow Landon River Lewis on his social pages and so much more. Thank you, buddy. Thank you to Candace and everybody making this interview happen. Yes, sir, definitely. That's Landon Lewis, everybody. Landon River Lewis, of course, winning all 3 nights in Legend Cars with U.S. Legends and INEX at Hickory Motor Speedway at the Easter Bunny 150 and the 57th opener at Caraway Speedway. We go from Landon Lewis down south, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Rick Ware Racing, E33 Motorsports, and he got his first career win with the Carolina Pro Late Model Series at a very exciting fast 3/8 mile track in the Commonwealth of Virginia at Franklin County Speedway Saturday afternoon. Mason Maggio, welcome to Finish Line, buddy. First time guest.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. Listen, what was the drive like? You were so excited. I thought you were going to fall off the car whenever you won the race, of course, on Saturday. It was such a special moment. I wish we could have the in-car driver communication with you and your crew and spotter, because I knew there had to been some yelling, hoo-haws, and everything else there when it was said and done. But what was the ride like back from Callaway, Virginia, back to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, knowing that you got a big win to start the season?
Yeah, it was huge. I think it was bigger for my team than it was for me, just considering the fact that E33 Motorsports, Rick Ware Racing have been involved with the short track program for so long and have built up to that moment, particularly with J.R. Courage and James Edwards being the big bosses behind it all and a crew behind it all, with my car chief Bob and then spotter Mike Anderson. Everybody on our team did an incredible job giving me a great race car and giving me the opportunity to do what we did this past weekend at Franklin County. Like I told you in our post-race interview, I haven't been to about 85% of the racetracks on the Carolina Pro schedule. So, I mean, that was my first ever time at Franklin, and it's going to be my first ever time at a lot of the racetracks on the schedule besides Hickory, Southern National, and now we can add Franklin County to the list. So, yeah, it was a big moment for me, but mainly for my team. Like I said, they've been involved with it for so long, and I've seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and to finally get them that win was really, really special, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with those guys this year.
You know, when I got you on the program, because you're a young driver, coming up we've got father-son duo, Paulie Hartwig and Paulie Hartwig III, who won the Carolina Crate Modified Series race before your big win. 100 laps, caution-free, but, man, what a race it was, Mason. What was it like battling side by side in what I had said on an occasion, the Bubba Pollard of pro late model racing in this area, Josh Lauder, because that man's got so much mad respect on the Carolina Pro Late Model circuit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you go up against an experienced race car driver, they're going to give it 110%, whether you're just as experienced as him or if you're in my position where, you're very new to this and the rookie coming in to fight with the dogs. So, yeah, it was super fun. And like we said in our post-race interview, I give my hat off to Josh. There was plenty of times where he could have had the opportunity to really move me up the racetrack or even wrecked me. But instead, like you said, his experience really showed with him trying to pass me clean and, us racing really hard. Even when we got together a little bit there, he still, didn't go overboard to the point where it would cause a disruption or any towards of aggression towards me and Josh. So my hat goes off to him. I give him a lot of respect. He certainly taught me a lot at Southern National back at the Thanksgiving Classic when he and I raced for a while. So I think that certainly helped with gaining respect for each other leading up into the season opener and then obviously Franklin County. So definitely learned a lot from that race for sure. It was certainly tiring, but it paid off. And the respect that Josh gave me after the race certainly made it all worthwhile. That we ran each other really hard in that race, but at the end of the day, the respect is there, and I hope it continues to be there moving forward through the season.
Can you explain a little bit of what Rick Ware Racing is? Obviously, we know the name Rick Ware Racing from the NASCAR stables, obviously in the industry of the three national tours, but also now doing what you're doing with the Carolina Pro Late Model program and E33 Motorsports. Explain how that is a separate entity, but is still a part of Rick Ware Racing in a driver development aspect program.
Yeah, so E33 Motorsports, well, I guess technically speaking, it's newly formed. Obviously, in years prior, if you followed those guys, it's been 33 Motorsports, which has been the Courage family, J.R. Courage in particular, but with James Edwards, my crew chief, and I guess you can say part owner in the whole operation, coming together for this year and really trying to put together a really stable program. And they've certainly done a lot this offseason, not just between me, but for some of my teammates that I'm going to have this year with Jason Holiday and Caleb Johnson, both in the 5, and then the one car that you saw in the that'll be running
beautiful car by
Carolina Pro.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yes.
No, I agree. It definitely stands out. I guess with that being said, Page Construction being on Jason's car, he's played a really major role in helping bring this all together as well. And given drivers like Jacek and Caleb, and then as well as myself here, I'll have an announcement actually coming up fairly soon regarding a partnership with Page for a race. So I'm looking forward to getting that out there. It'll be fun. But yeah, they've played a big role in E33, and then me being under the Rick Ware Racing banner is certainly humbling for sure to be recruited for something like that. Considering I was just running late models at Hickory, just trying to win races and get my name out there the best I could, and thankfully it paid off. And at the end of the day, I'm under the Rick Ware Racing banner. It's not every day that you get to say you're associated with a Cup team. So to have that affiliation and being under that radar is certainly humbling, and certainly an opportunity that I want to continue to prove my worth. And hopefully, with that being said, try to find myself up in the higher series one of these days.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mason, it puts a lot of eyes on you already. When you're involved and your name's tagged in the development, you look at what Josh Berry did driving for Junior Motorsports. You look at the DGR Crosley stables at one time, which is now David Gilliland Racing, and you see Taylor Gray winning ARCA a couple of weeks ago. I know it was sad about the Steven Stotts and the passing of the truck driver on the way to Phoenix from Texas, but, you look at the opportunities, and it's like I just told Landon a moment ago here on our previous guest. You put yourselves with the right people, with the right equipment, with the right positivity, energy around you, and it's going to take you somewhere. If you get around negative and people that are going to be hard to deal with, then that makes things difficult for you. It kind of reminds me of a quote that somebody gave me one time. You can be an uplifting person, and you can be the most positive person and a go-getter, and being around people like that is a great thing. But if you're around somebody that's a negativist that's going to drag you down, eventually you're going to drag down with them. It's like the old cliche, you go to the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. Hello, I just got my haircut the other day. Just a little jokingly into that. So, Mason, do you remember, dude, on Saturday, my hair's flying through the air like Beekman's World, man, when we were talking to each other because the wind was horrible. I said, I got to do something about this, Tim Packman. I got to get my hair cut again. So, but no, enough about my hair. Back to you. But having the opportunity to be with Rick Ware Racing and with this E33 Motorsports program that is newly changed, formatted, and you come right out of the stables with it, obviously, not only to that, it also looks good for the Carolina Pro Late Model Series because they're also getting attention, and people are going to be watching that tour, I believe, on Racing America with drivers like yourself in the cockpit.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough, regarding the haircut thing, just to be off topic, I actually got a haircut the day before I left for Franklin County, so I guess that's kind of funny how it all comes full circle. Yeah, yeah, I think it's great for the Carolina Pro Series. Obviously, I've seen it. I saw it a handful of times at Hickory last year when I ran limiteds for their Hickory Motor Speedway's limited series, and it was definitely a strong field. It looked extremely competitive. It was something that I certainly wanted to do after watching a couple of exciting races and finishes with that series at Hickory, and just seeing what it was all about compared to other series. And I mean, now you've got the Carolina Pro and also with the Cars Tour switching over from supers to pros. That can open up doors for, I feel, both series, and allowing people to get their feet wet with the pro late model stuff, and getting to experience the different competition, the different series, and give more avenue for pro late model racing on two great stages, I feel like. But I think Carolina Pro has definitely come a long way from what obviously Keith, who runs the series, has told me, as well as my car owner, JR Courage, James Edwards. So to continue to help with the growth of that series and give it the publicity that it deserves in order to be like a car store someday is certainly humbling and grateful to be a part of. And I only wish the series can grow from here.
Are you thinking a championship now, Mason? I mean, I know it's obviously early in the season, but you had a pretty good points day at Southern National, finished in the top 5. I think you got a 3rd or 4th place finish. And then with this win, this pretty much puts Josh Lauder, Mason Maggio 1 and 2 in the points, I'm thinking unofficially. Maybe the drive. Well, I'm thinking it's you guys 1 and 2 in the points. I've not seen the updated point standings, but are you and the crew on E33 Motorsports talking about a run for a championship, or is it right now just go out there, have fun, and win races, and whatever the way the cards fall is the way that it will be?
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough, one of our first conversations last year was JR Courage basically saying, I think you can win a championship. I think we can all get a championship here. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, I was thinking more of like a top 5, but yeah, we can go for the championship too. Before I even hopped in behind the wheel of a pro late model. Yeah, I think it's definitely in the picture. I think it's definitely in the conversation. Then again, there's still a lot of new things for me that I need to experience and learn. So I think it could definitely be a possibility, but obviously Josh is an incredibly experienced race car driver and is not going to cut me any slack whatsoever. Neither will the rest of the competition. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays throughout the year. And let's just hope when the final couple races come about that we're in a good position in the points championship and we can at least have a shot.
So, Mason, we're going to play a game. We'll get them in a minute. We're going to play a game called I Spy with our producer, Charles Wooten. He always chimes in with a question or two. And, Charles, this is for you. I spy something in his video picture that is something that you would ask related to a question. Go ahead. Can you figure it out?
No. Does that have something to do with his chair?
Know?
I don't know.
Yes, this chair. It's his chair. Is that an iRacing rig chair? Mason, are you into iRacing?
I am into iRacing. Not near to the extent that I have some other friends that are, but I like to at least practice on there a handful of times. But yeah, basically just took the those little light things, the circular light things that a bunch of TikTok and content creators use, and then just put the chair back up to my closet because I got a lot of stuff
He's
in my
referring
room
to
that's
ring
not
lights.
exactly the ring lights, yes. So I got that, and
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That is the perfect description of not knowing what it was, Mason. I love it. You should be a broadcaster because you can paint a hell of a picture. Listen, it's a thing. It's a circle. It lights up. Yeah. I was thinking, I was like,
And it stands
what is he talking
on its
about?
own.
Yes. Yeah, I stay the hell away from TikTok, okay? I get random messages from everybody. My family, friends, girlfriend, Jackie sends me TikTok. I'm just like, you guys need to find something better to do. But listen, I tell people this, Mason. I'm normally a pretty busy guy. The day that I download TikTok to try to entertain my life, I got a problem. They need to have me committed, okay? Mason, but do what? Don't you do that? So what do you do, Mason? What do you do, buddy, whenever you're not racing? I mean, is this a full-time opportunity? Are you in school? I know you told me that you're homeschooled, so that worked out great to have you here on the program today.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing is just trying to get as much schoolwork done as I can. Obviously, the last thing I need to be doing is falling behind on school and then having to worry about racing at the same time. I've been in that position
Certainly.
when I first started racing, and it certainly was not fun. But yeah, try to do some iRacing here and there. Would like to get into content creating a little bit more as far as just with racing and having fun with that. And then I've been hanging out with a lot of my friends lately. I mean, besides last week was our spring break, at least for our state. And to say the least, I was barely home. And the only time that I was home was to do schoolwork and then leave to go hang out with some more of my buddies. So, yeah, definitely like to hang out with my friends and be a part of that and not stray too far away from them, from the racing stuff. But yeah, certainly have enjoyed all that, and definitely trying to, go to the gym and stay active. I realized after Franklin County that I really needed to build up a stamina because I was so out of breath, a much better stamina. And so I actually have to do cardio at some point today. So. But,
did you see what they made us do? They made me walk. They made me and Tim Packman walk from the press box because they put a lock on the damn flag stand because I guess the flagman's under attack, I guess. I don't know. So they put it only in Callaway, Virginia. They put a lock on the flag stand. So you can't, all you got to do is just go down the stairs and cross over and be right there on the racetrack. And I'm right there at you. But no, they put a lock on the gate. Nobody's guarding it. 2 padlocks, I think, is what it was, Charles. That you can't make this stuff up. Only in Virginia, the mountains. And I go all the way to the end of the front straightaway to turn 4, and you cross over the crossover gate and walk all the way back up to the start-finish line. By the time I got to you, because I wanted to call the finish of the race for Racing America, I felt like I walked halfway down a Cup Series garage at Charlotte because I was just like, all right, Mason, you won the race. And then and you were breathing hard, too, for sure. So, I mean, you got a reason to be breathing hard. You just ran 100 laps, solid green flag, battling louder side by side. And it's exciting. I had the Battle of the Stairs, exactly. You've heard of Battle of the Stars? I had the Battle of the Stairs. But anyhow, Mason, you're exactly right. In this industry, you've got to be in good shape. You've got to be in good shape.
Yeah, that was a wake-up call for sure. I thought I was doing pretty good with my cardio and my stamina just from the limiteds and then the last 2 races I did with at Southern National, and then Franklin was a wake-up call. So definitely got to work on it for future races, especially in the summer months. It's only going to get worse from there.
So, Mason, final question, I'll let you go. Do you live in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, or do you stay now in Mooresville in Race City, USA? Like, did you make the trip back down to Florida after the race on Saturday night?
Well, I made the trip back down Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Definitely wanted to sleep in after celebrating with a nice dinner the burger place not too far down the road. So that was nice. And but yeah, no, I definitely would like to be more involved up in North Carolina, being at the shop and then learning from my team and just trying to be more involved. Obviously, it's super hard when your race shop and your team are whole 3 states away from where I live. So
Sure.
yeah, but hopefully over the summer I can be more involved with that stuff and have the opportunity to work with them a little bit more on the technical side of things with the cars and just learning the industry too. I feel like I'm in a really good spot to try to learn the industry and what it takes to get to those higher levels, whether that's NASCAR or sports cars or any professional level of racing. I'm a pretty open book when it comes to just getting opportunities, both out in it or out and out NASCAR. So hopefully over the summer that can change and I'll be up in North Carolina a lot more. But as of right now, I've been sitting at my desk getting schoolwork done and dreaming about the next race.
Dreaming about Hickory. Come Saturday night, birthplace of the NASCAR stars. Rick Ware racing, E33 Motorsports driver, and he got his inaugural win at Franklin County Speedway in Callaway, Virginia. Again, Palm Beach Garden, Florida's Mason Maggio. Thanks for being on Finish Line. Before we let you go, thank you, friend.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody involved. Obviously, my family, first and foremost, for allowing me to follow my dream, the crazy, unrealistic racing dream that I have, but they let me follow it. But and then obviously Rick Ware Racing with E33 Motorsports for giving me the opportunity and giving me a great race car that weekend. Big thank you to all of our partners that helped make this possible with HMY Yacht Sales, Bahama Beach Club, Dry Shine USA, Richmar Florist, GCI Slingers, Crawford Garage Doors, all of our supporters that help make this possible. And like you said, dreaming about Hickory, and I've had a lot of success there. So hopefully we can collect another trophy there.
Definitely, bud. Whenever you run iRacing, contact Charles. Contact Charles. He'll put you in a racing league or something like that. Sim 500, Northwest Racing Series guest, something like that for sure. We'd love to have you join us on a iRacing broadcast for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep it in mind.
All right, man. There's Mason Maggio, everybody, joining us here on Finish Line, and we appreciate him. He get picked up the win in Franklin County. Next race for the Carolina Pro Late Model Series next Saturday, April 2nd at Hickory Motor Speedway. He was the Carolina Pro Late Model Series winner, and now joining us as our final guest. By the way, Derek Hagar called up in a meeting in Arkansas. He's on. Don't walk. He walked off the set. No, you're good. You're good. Go.
Completely.
You're good. Bye. You're done. Go. It's our producer's fault. It ain't. When it's live, people. I was going to segue to this. We go from the Carolina Pro Late Model Series winner to the Carolina Crate Modified Series winner and his father-son team ready to go as our final guest here on Finish Line. We go to Galloway, New Jersey. Paulie Hartwig III, he is 11 years old. Harley Hartwig Jr. or Sr. is the father. And I wanted to book them on the program because there was a son team, first off. And secondly, I wanted to get you on, young man, because I want you to remember your moment, your first ever big crate modified series win on the Carolina Tour. Welcome, guys, to Finish Line, young man and father. Thank you for being on.
Thank you.
You can hear us, right?
We can hear you fine, definitely. And by the way, I love the backdrop. It takes a green screen to do what I got to do. You guys have got is that a towel? Is that a big banner? What is that behind you?
It's actually Paulie's blanket for his bed. We had it made for him for Christmas.
I love it, man. That's awesome, dude. Charles, I want to use a blanket that's got Finish Line as a backdrop from now on. I don't want to use the green screen anymore. We'll see what we can do.
Oh, send Jeff Stabney out of the bill. Hey, so listen, young man, we'll talk to you in just a second. Thank you for taking the time out of your school schedule. And before I go any further, school is very important. I'm sure your mommy and daddy tell you that. So, yes, stay in school. But, Paulie, I got a chance to meet you guys this past weekend at Franklin County Speedway, but also at Caraway Speedway. What was it like to spend the last 3 days in the Carolinas going back up to New Jersey?
It was really good to travel everywhere, but I thought I couldn't do it. Can't thank my mom and my dad for doing everything that we could do. And all of our sponsors to getting us there and back for fuel money and our sponsors.
And Daddy Senior, Daddy Paulie, are y'all both Paulie? Are you Paulie Junior or Paulie Senior?
It's actually Paul Hartwig the Jr. and Paul Hartwig the third. And
so he's the third, and you're junior.
It's a full family operation. My dad helps me and my kid. You know, we're all together, all the same name.
That's awesome. But you're junior, and he's the third.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Well, listen, I know I remembered watching Flo and seeing that car down at New Smyrna. You went down there and ran the crate program, I think 602 crates at New Smyrna. Was that your car? Was you there?
That was me racing. Yeah, Paulie's not old enough yet to race NASCAR sanctioned stuff. So we went down there and we focused on me for that week. And that was my 3 days to really get to race. And these last 2 races, we just brought the other car to, help out with the field and also to get more laps if we needed a car for Paulie or something happened to his rig.
So it sounds like that the Hartwig name is very popular in racing, especially in open wheel modifieds. Junior, tell us how you got your start. Obviously, it's got to be from your dad, Senior, and what's it like now to have a grandfather, your father, son, his grandson in this 3 generations of racing family now in a 73 car?
So my dad only raced like 1 or 2 races ever. The way we got started was my dad used to go to Wall Stadium, and he was a tow truck driver for years. And I was born basically right at the racetrack at Wall Stadium, sitting in the grandstands watching since I was 2 months old. Not even. I was born in February. First race, I was at the track. And ever since then, it's been in my blood. I got a late start. I rode horses when I was 5 until I was 10. And then my grandpa bought me my first quarter midget when I was 11. I got a really late start. I didn't even start racing until this kid won his first modified race. So, it was from 11 to like 16. I ran quarter midgets. There was nothing else back then in New Jersey. We didn't know we could go to PA and run full size cars, or go to North Carolina and run full size cars. In New Jersey, you can't do nothing until you have a permit. Basically, for big cars, it's only go karts, quarter midgets. They used to do bandoleros back in the day, but that kind of faded off in New Jersey. I also ran a little bit of factory stock stuff. When I was like 17, 18 years old. We didn't have a lot of money coming up. We actually lived in a hotel and stuff my junior, senior year of high school. So where we are now, I built a small landscape business that a good friend of ours had, and he let us take it over. And we took that over in 2013. And ever since then, our eye's been forward. We bought our own house now. We have our own equipment. Everything's ours. There's no more borrowed stuff or anything. We do everything on our own now. It's it means a lot to me from where I came from. You know what I mean? Because we came from the bottom. I mean, literally living in a hotel was rough. Going to school, trying not to drop out of school and stay in school and get my diploma and everything. It wasn't easy when I was living in a hotel. A lot of stress.
Sure.
But we made it through. My family overcame it all, and this is where we are now.
Well, with God, all things are possible for sure. And the trials and tribulations that you go through in life. And I've always said this, you got to find a positive in the negative, because there's always a silver lining to everything that we go through for sure. And man, that's just a touching story. Let's go back to the race, seeing your son out in front, doing what he was doing, getting around a racetrack that a lot of even veteran drivers tell me it's pretty darn hard to get around at Franklin County. And shout out to Capital Moonshine Promotions and Langley and Kimberly Austin. It was great seeing all of them again. But, you said it, I quote, with my colleague partner on Racing America, Tim Packman. I spun the car out because I was just so ecstatic and excited seeing in in my mirror, my windshield, my son pulling away, driving away. That's got to be a special moment. That's something you'll never forget in the cockpit of the car, with you being on the racetrack with him compared to being on the as a fan in the stands or in the spotter's box or the crew chief box on the racetrack. What was going through your mind watching him close in those final laps and win the race?
At one point, he wasn't even on the same straightaway as me, and he was second at that time. Go through my mind, I'm like, did he take the lead yet? Did he take the lead yet? I know he's got a good car. Is he staying focused? It's so hard to race on the track with him because I don't know what's going on with him. You know what I mean? If I can't see what's going on, my mind was going a mile a minute. And then Cody and him were wheel to wheel, side by side, back and forth. One took the lead, the other one took the lead. They raced each other clean the whole time. And then we had a late race restart. And I was too busy watching Paulie at the one restart. I ran right in the back of Cody and damn near wrecked him on accident. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to, but I was just so excited for my kid. I drove down the corner, and I got in the back of Cody. I'm like, oh, I got a lift. And then next thing I know, I got turned off the left rear almost into the inside fence. I'm like, all right, we got to calm down here. We got to focus on my race. I can't be focused on him. You know what I mean? It was the first race he led a couple races last year back in PA and just could never seal the deal. He led 23 of 25 one night. And he led 25 of 30 one night and just could never seal the deal. He got dumped out of the lead. So it was like everything was going through my mind. What could happen to him? Could he have a loose wheel? Could he run out of fuel? You know what I mean? Could he get spun out? You know, everything's going through your mind. You never know what could happen. They could lose a motor with one to go. You know what I mean? I had so much things go through my mind. I just couldn't focus on my own race, you know?
And again, that's got and young Paulie, that's got to be exciting for you because all the while, you know, you get in the car, your mindset is, all right, Dad, do what you got to do. I got to go do what I got to do. You guys do what you go do you, and I'll do me for sure. But man, what was that like, young man, pulling into victory lane, getting that checkered flag, and all of a sudden, you know, your dad and your mom and the family and just being bombarded and, you know, you're celebrating. And I think Tim Packman made the joke of, well, guys, he's only 11 years old. He can't be chugging, you know, alcoholic beverages or anything else. So he's slinging that bottle of water like it was, though. That was a special moment for you, wasn't it, buddy?
The alcohol is a funny story because after the races, we went out to dinner and we stopped at the gas station. Thank God I don't really drink. My crew guys had a couple. Thank God they picked up a 12-pack of Corona because we went to the bar and we got there at 10:59 and the lady's like, sorry, we can't serve no alcohol because it's after 11 o'clock in North Carolina. My guys looked at me. I said, I don't know what to tell you. I don't drink. We were lucky to get served food. She barely got the food order in time before they closed.
Yeah, it's things have changed for sure since COVID with everything of the restaurants staying up at night and the changing some policies. But Paulie the third, I want to go back to you, young man. What was going through your mind being out in front, racing with Cody Norman? You guys respected each other. That's another young driver that I've known in recently the last couple of years from his father, Mike Norman, obviously. And you know, if you're going to be running this Carolina Crate Modified Series program, you're probably going to be banging fenders with him more often.
Yeah, every time I first go out, I'm really nervous. And then when I first go on the track, I'm not really nervous. I just calm myself down. We got to focus on racing. Then I was just saving my tires, and then my spotter said go, so I went and I followed him. And then I took the lead, and I was like lap 32, and then we had that restart. I wasn't really going on the restart because I'm like not shifting because I feel like I'm going to miss a shift and wreck myself. So we're going to try that, and then that's how I'm going to get better restarts. And me and Cody had a really good battle. And thanks for Mike for sponsoring us $5,500. And thanks for him. And we and him had a good race. And then when I took that white flag, I just cruised to the finish.
Wait a second. So the race paid $1,000 to win. You and Cody took the money of first place and split it. So you gave Cody $500.
No, what happened was Mike sponsors Paulie throughout his career. He buys him some tires and stuff. And he wanted to get us down south to run that Carolina Crate Series and try to build the car count.
That's awesome.
So he sponsored us $500 towards fuel, tires, etc. to get us down there.
So you just returned the favor and said, hey, man, so you basically just returned the favor. Basically just saying, hey, man, I just want to say thank you because we wouldn't have been here if it wouldn't have been for your help.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just thanking them for getting down there. Yeah, and we also had a bunch of lap sponsors. What we did was we took 60 laps, and we put 60 people on the back of his race car, and each person gave $20 towards the laps so that we can afford to do this trip. Because like I said, we have a family landscape business. We don't have a ton of money. And with gas prices, just to drive down and back to go to both tracks was $650 just in fuel.
Yeah, I'm sure it was definitely, it definitely is, and there is some type of remedy because it does look like the prices are coming down, at least in this area. So that's a good thing. Hopefully, as I said, the powers that be can get there. You know, yeah, you're closer to Washington than I am.
It was weird. It
The
came
powers
down.
that be.
It came down under $5. On our way back home, the gas was back under $5 at home, and I went out today to get diesel fuel, and it's already back to $5.15. It's crazy.
Man.
It goes up and then it crashes down. It goes up. I don't get it.
Yeah, these guys are fighting over barrels like it's the last piece of chicken at Thanksgiving dinner table or something. I don't get it,
And
for sure.
The crazy thing is the barrel oil is only $100 right now. That's the crazy thing.
Right. The Carolina Crate Modified Series, what was your take of running it? Paulie third, Paulie Jr., and of course, will we see you if expenses don't get in the way with the travel costs and whatnot? Run a series, run a run for the championship because, hey, young man, 11 years old, you're the points leader.
Yeah.
The thing we really got to thank is Keith and Wendy for taking a chance with Paulie to race the first race at Franklin. So we're going to try to make some of the shows. I don't know if we can make all of them. Some tracks have their own rules too. So I don't know if he can run every track at the age he is. So that might be a problem. But I want to thank the CCMS program for letting him come down and join their racing and be able to show that he can do it. Because last year I wanted him to run with Keith, and Keith's like, he's only 10 years old. I said, listen, give him a chance. And this year he gave him his chance, and he came down there and he showed that he can do it. You know what I mean? So hopefully that will open a door to run most of the series. If the sponsor comes along and we can afford to fuel and travel down there, we'll try to run the full series. But at this point, we're just going to pick a couple races and go with the schedule, what we can afford and where we can go, We're also working on a 2-mile program for back home.
I totally get that, man. Definitely. Now, where do you race at? Do you race at Wall Stadium? Is that home, Wall Stadium in New Jersey? Do you run there?
No, he can't run there. He's got to be 16 to race in New Jersey. So we travel out to Mahoney Valley out in Pennsylvania. It's like 2 hours from our house. And then we travel out to Evergreen Raceway, which is about 3 hours. And if it wasn't for those two tracks, giving him his first shot in 4-cylinders at 9 years old, he's the youngest winning stock car driver ever in the state of Pennsylvania, too, in a 4-cylinder.
That's awesome, for sure, definitely. Well, listen, guys, a young man, obviously, what does it mean to get that first win? Your first career win, and it happened in the Carolinas, and it's on the road.
Yeah, I started when I was 9, and then started working my up. It's really fun racing a modified with a good competition with my dad and all of these guys, and it's not hard. It's easy. I mean, not hard. It's hard to win some. It's like everyone has the good competition. They've been racing for like over 40 years, and I'm like, I gotta wait until I get better and better, and maybe I'll have against them.
Paulie, how do they treat you in the pit area, buddy? I mean, it seems like you've got a lot of respect from the Graham family and Norman and everybody on the Carolina Crate Modified program. But at other tracks, do they kind of say, well, man, he's a kid. Why is he out here racing? He might be a risk, and you finally show your knowledge and your experience, and then they finally see what you can do. And there's kind of a earned respect given type deal after it's done.
So the funny story is, last year, his first ever modified race, we actually drove for a friend of ours, Chris Kilbright. He actually ended up losing his life last year, about 2 months after he let Paulie drive modified for his first ever time. We went to Mahoney Valley. Paulie almost won the heat race. He got tangled with one of the guys for the lead because he wasn't over aggressive, but he got under the guy, and he kind of could have backed out of it, but he didn't know at the time. So he stuck it in there, and they kind of just tangled a little bit, and they restarted in the back. He drove all the way back to second. So then come feature time, he started fourth, and he was riding around second, third. Next thing you know, it's 2 to go, and he's pulling on the outside of Don Wagner for the lead. That's been racing at this track for over 30 years. Since 1987, I want to say he's been racing there.
That's amazing.
And Paulie pulled on the outside of him. He was almost wheel to wheel with him, coming to the white flag, almost taking the win to the checkered at his first ever modified race. And there was 12 cars
That's amazing. I've got one or two more questions, and we'll let you go. Charles, have you got anything for this young man? This is the future right here on Finish Line, buddy.
You know, you were going back earlier. He's obviously young, so don't worry about not being able to get a beer can and shake it around. Because honestly, you saved yourself a lot of stink and a lot of stickiness. So you know, just do the water; it's a lot cleaner for you.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, for sure, definitely stay away from the bad things. I'm sure your dad already tells you that as well. Let's go back to Sunday, Caraway Speedway. What was the plan already, Paulie, to travel down to Caraway to Sophia, North Carolina, and run that race for the 57th opener? And what did you think of the racetracks, the two different facilities?
It was different. Caraway's bigger and Franklin was a little smaller. Then I first got there, I feel like I'm gonna save the car. We're gonna just keep on racing our real deal, and then just keep it for the rest of the year and see what we can do next year.
Dad?
So last year he went down and ran North South Street out of Caraway. So our plan was to do the Triple Crown Series with him this year at Caraway. So we were actually headed to Caraway. We were going to go down on Friday, hang out with some people in North Carolina, go over Saturday and test at Caraway. And then Keith gave us the phone call and gave Paulie the go-ahead to come to Franklin for the CCMS
that's awesome.
race. So we
Okay.
decided to go to Franklin on Friday, test, get ready for Saturday's race. And then Sunday we went over to start the Triple Crown race. And he actually time trialed third, and he was actually faster than all the guys we ran with at the shootout. There was new guys there that weren't at the shootout this year, and they were kind of in their own zip code. You know, they were 2 to 3 tenths faster. Our stuff back home kind of isn't the same as the Southern stuff. Like we have a clutch rule, we have a transmission rule, and we have a shock rule, which theirs is basically unlimited. You can run a $5,000 transmission, a $1,200 clutch, and $5,000 worth of shocks. When our shocks are
Certainly.
only $800 for the whole set. You know what I mean? So he went there. He timed third fastest, and he was racing really good. I followed him for a while. He fell back to fifth, and the car just looked so tight. We didn't know why. And I'm following him, trying to let him, catch. Hopefully the stagger came or something. Come to find out after the race, the right rear tire was going flat the whole time. He ended up finishing a lap down with 7.6 pounds in the right rear tire.
Yeah, I noticed that because I was staying with my colleague in the booth, Alan Todd, on Caraway Speedway TV, because I was at Franklin County and then I went to Caraway for my Sunday obligations there. And I said, well, holy cow. And Keith Graham said, he said, yeah, man, you're going to see him the Normans at Caraway, so, and I did notice, I was like, go ahead.
If we could throw a little wrench in, we might be back again Saturday. We'll see.
This Saturday. Well, man, hopefully you can make it out there. My plan is to be there with a Smart Modified, the Warrior 99, also the Atlantic Turf Cape Super Truck Series. First time in 11 years Super Trucks are racing at Caraway Speedway, and you can watch it on Flow Racing and Caraway Speedway TV. Well, listen, guys, young man, your final closing thoughts on your win. I'm actually doing that right now.
Okay.
Yes, I'm letting you do that right now, but I just wanted to get his final thoughts one more time on. I just wanted to let you, young man, give your thoughts one more time on your amazing fun weekend, and I hope you never forget this win at Franklin County.
Yeah, I gotta thank my mom, my dad, my whole family, and get me into this world. Gotta thank Ace and the whole landscaping, LG Langar for everything that he does, and Bobby Geiger, and my mom, my dad, my sister, my uncle, my grandma, Ace and O Landscaping, LG Landguard, Ace and O.
I got it. I'll take it off. Gotta thank Garden State Auto Body, Surfside Collision, Natural Designs, Timmy Salmino. We gotta thank Bobby Geiger. He came on board with us halfway through last year, and the guy spends countless hours in the shop. He's in there 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, I can't thank the guy enough for taking my kid under his wing. I mean, he puts so much time and dedication in, more than I ever did. I ain't gonna lie. He's just in the shop and make sure everything's perfect.
And Velocity.
I also got to thank Velocity for always keeping Paulie looking fresh. Morgan T.
Brad Smith.
They help us out. Brad Smith is awesome. He's really does well with Paulie. He actually helped me out down in Florida too when I ran the Speed Weeks down in Florida. We also got to thank RE. Sean Waddell. I also got to thank Keith from K2. He does the shock program for Paulie back home with the regular Pro Shocks. There's so many people. I always forget people, and I feel bad because you can never remember everybody. There's a lot of silent partners. I don't know. There's just so many people that help. And Sal's Car Care.
Yeah.
Who else you got, buddy?
Surfside.
We did Surfside. Garden State Auto Body. And just everyone else. Everyone chips in here or there. Like, there's not big sponsors, but I mean, even $50 helps this race team. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of guys that just send us Venmo money for $50 or $100 just to cover fuel. All them guys
awesome.
are all on the back of the car. We put their name on the back of the car just so you can actually see their names on the car. That's why we do the lap sponsors for some of our races, because it's only $20 a lap, and it just helps out towards the expenses. It's not a lot of money, but it offsets the cost of the races.
That's amazing. That's amazing, guys. Well, listen,
and like
father,
I said, I
son.
Keith Graham again and Wendy for letting him run
Yes, Keith and
program.
Wendy. Yeah, they're awesome people, and I will let everyone know that there was some logistical internet issues on the Racing America's part where they were not able to do the Carolina Crate Modified Series race.
Everyone wanted to watch it too.
Yeah, that was a disappointment. When things are there and you're live, and when things go wrong, you can't help it. But the audio was there. We were able to do the radio coverage on Community Radio Network at a last minute decision on a call by Keith Graham, and at least somehow, some way, you do have some type of a archive to remember the win and the interviews and whatnot. So listen, Paulie Jr., Paulie Third, thank you guys, father, son, for being on Finish Line.
If anyone has a video of the Victory Lane, would be awesome. If anybody has a video of Victory Lane, would be awesome to get that.
Yeah, if anybody out there has anything from the Franklin County Speedway Victory Lane, please contact again directly the people there of the Hartwig family. So, well, guys, listen, our time's grown short. We've actually gone over. I keep telling everybody we got to do a 3-hour show. It keeps happening that way. But to get everybody on, thank you for coming in from school. Thank you for coming in from. At least you had lunch today, Charles. I haven't. Thank you for being able to get Paulie the Third in from school. And congratulations, young man. 11 years old.
Thank
the
you.
Future of our sport. Appreciate y'all being on Finish Line.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
No problem, bud. There you go, and there you have it, Charles. Man, that's the future. Charles, that's the future of our sport. These guys behind me, one day, those kids, 11, 12, 15 years old, they're going to be in these cars.
Well, maybe not those cars. It may be like electric cars by then, but, they'll be zipping by going.
Hogwash. Is it? Oh, goodness. Well, we're going to get out of here because
we have one more segment, though. I've been saving this for the last part of the show, and no, it's not a flux capacitor.
If you tell me to find a flux capacitor, I'm going to fly to Texas.
No, I just wanted to show for all the people out there watching, which we topped our most at 18 tonight. We actually had the most viewers we've had. And for the ones that don't know, that this broadcast is unofficially not brought to you by this right here. There you go, Wesley. It's a Cinnamon Coke.
Matt Weaver, that's for you. Bring back Cinnamon Coke. Okay? Bring back Cinnamon Coke.
I had to go dig that off the internet.
But you know what it is now. You didn't even know what the heck I was talking about. I told you it was real.
No, I had to go dig and finally find a Cinnamon Coke can.
Cue the cheesy inspirational music and let's get the hell out of here. It's been a good one. Finish Line in the books. Another great show. Charles, another great show. It just keeps getting better and better and better. And the archives will be up in just a few minutes as well.
Yes, it does. It keeps getting better. Viewers keep tuning in, so I guess we'll keep doing it.
Thank you. Appreciate, of course, LSR Productions and Jeff Stab. Now, Charles Wooten, always doing the video side of things. For the longest time, for 3 years, Finish Line was only audio formatted. Now we have audio and we have the video format. And it just makes it so much fun seeing put the Coke can back up there. It just makes it so much more. Oh, he can't. I'll drink them all virtually. Hey, thank you for everybody for joining us here on the program. Thank you to our guests. By the way, big props to Corey Heim. I wish he could have been on. Of course, working with Kyle Busch Motorsports, meetings, obligations. You're climbing the ladder of success. I get it. but congrats to him. Georgia driver winning. Ben Sumner, Georgia Spring Nationals this weekend at Crisp Motorsports Park. If not, you can watch on Racing America. Lane Riggs for being on. Dabbling, sweeping South Boston. Winner at Caraway, Trevor Ward. Sweeping 3 wins in Legends, Landon River Lewis. Mason Maggio and Paulie Hartwig III winning at Franklin County Speedway. And that's going to do it. Finish line in the books. March 23rd. We got one more segment in March, and then we move into April, and spring is officially here as well. Be good to one another. Keep praying for America. Keep praying for our country. Hopefully gas prices will come down. And on the road to life, there is always a finish line. Whether your life is a crooked, wavy lines, narrow path, or a straight line, you'll always reach a finish line. Make yours a successful one and have fun. Turn left. For Charles Wooten, I'm Wesley Outland. We'll see you next week.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all 4 sides up immediately, then having to go around from side to side to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true to stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.